Chapter 497. After adding the money, Mistson felt her heart ache. She was afraid that the money would go to waste, so she contacted Qin Wanyin and told her to mention the Spring Flower Foundation on the show. It would be best if she could talk to Xiangyi directly. Mistson had already realized that Xiangyi was now a walking celebrity. As long as she became a hot topic, the Spring Flower Foundation would definitely receive more donations. After receiving the news, Qin Wanyin was a little anxious. She had already made it obvious enough the last time. If she did it again, what if she caused trouble? However, Mistson was introduced to her by Ling Yi, and she wanted to use Mistson to enter the upper-class socialite circle. For the sake of this precious connection, Qin Wanyin gritted her teeth and steeled her heart as she followed behind Xiangyi. Xiangyi was dumbfounded. Qin Wanyin said with a fake smile, "Sister Yi, where are you going?" "I'll accompany you." "To the wine cellar." Seeing that Tianji liked peach wine very much, she wanted to get 2 jars for him to take away when he left. Since she was a guest, she had to treat her with respect. This was a principle that Xiangyi's grandfather had taught her since she was a child. Hence, she was also polite to Qin Wanyin. Little did she know that this gave Qin Wanyin the illusion that Xiangyi was a pushover and didn't hold it against her. She affectionately reached out to hold Xiangyi's arm, but the girl quietly avoided her with a sidestep. Qin Wanyin pretended to stroke her hair to hide her embarrassment. Blinking her exquisite eye makeup, she asked, "Wow, Sister E, you even have a wine cellar at home. I'm so envious. When I was young, my family was poor and lived in the village. I also had a cellar, but it was used to store sweet potatoes." Qin Wanyin's words aroused the sympathy of many people. They were both goddesses? However, their lives were like the difference between the clouds in the sky and the mud on the ground. Qin Wanyin is quite pitiful. She climbed from the bottom to where she is now, unlike Xiangyi, who was born fair, rich, and beautiful. Haha, Xiangyi is so extravagant. Other people's cellars are used to make a living, but hers is used for pleasure. Comparisons are odious. You're already so rich, what's wrong with doing some charity? No wonder people say that rich people are stingy and stingy. The bullet screen was full of scolding. It was as if Xiangyi going to get some wine was a heinous crime. Qin Wanyin led the way. By the time they reached the wine cellar, their mouths were already dry. The little system reminded her several times that the more she spoke, the more mistakes she would make. However, Qin Wanyin always retorted back in annoyance. What kind of stupid system was this? She was the host, so it should listen to her. Xiangyi's attitude towards her was indifferent from the beginning to the end. She gave Tianji 2 jars of peach wine and politely asked Qin Wanyin if she wanted the wine she brewed. Qin Wanyin didn't like the wine she brewed herself. She was afraid that the bacteria in it would cause food poisoning. Her eyes darted around and landed on the red wine rack not far away. She pointed to a bottle of red wine that she couldn't understand. "Sister E, can I have this?" "Xiangyi, sorry, the wine over there is my brother's collection. I can't make the decision for them. This is the wine I brewed myself. You can choose whatever you want." Although the Xiang siblings were close, they were very principled. Even if it was Xiangyi's childhood toy, without her permission, the brothers would never give it to other children. Qin Wanyin pretended to be surprised and covered her mouth. "Aren't you very close to your family?" Sorry, I was too talkative." "It's okay, Sister E, I don't want it." Chapter 498. Her words seemed considerate, but she was actually trying to drive a wedge between them. When the netizens heard this, they immediately felt that Xiangyi's relationship with her brothers wasn't that good after all. Otherwise, why wouldn't they give her a bottle of wine? Unfortunately, Qin Wanyin had underestimated how protective the Xiang family was. Xiangyi frowned. "First of all, I don't think this has anything to do with the relationship between family members. Secondly, a good relationship doesn't mean I can do whatever I want with the items. Perhaps the things I find useless are precious and beautiful to my brothers." Qin Wanyin choked. The comments from the Spicy Tutu fans defending Xiangyi immediately flooded the screen. I'm praising Xiangyi." "Qin Wanyin, what's the matter? Have you forgotten how you betrayed Sister E? Sister E is giving you face, but we won't. Go ahead and play your Swona *smile *smile*. My mom gave my favorite hairpin to my cousin. I was so angry, so angry. I cried and she said I was stingy. I really want to have a family like Xiangyi. Sob. Some people were bored enough to take a screenshot of the bottle of red wine and immediately jumped up from the sofa. F*ck, that bottle of red wine Qin Wanyin once cost 6 figures. How can she be so shameless as to ask for it? For a moment, everyone's impression of Qin Wanyin was extremely poor. Besides, Xiangyi had already said she was going to give her the wine she brewed herself. She should just take whatever she was given. It was basic etiquette to give gifts when visiting others, but not only did she not give anything, she even took the initiative to ask for something. That was a bit inappropriate, wasn't it? Qin Wanyin didn't expect that the good impression she had gained by playing the Suona would disappear because of a few words. It was true that the more one spoke, the more mistakes one would make. However, Qin Wanyin didn't seem to notice and pretended to be magnanimous. Sister Yi, you have a point. By the way, my friend recommended the Spring Flower Foundation to me. I think it's quite reliable. Why don't we donate some money together? Xiangyi, sorry, not interested. Qin Wanyin, Sister Yi, I thought you were so kind that you'd be willing to donate money to charity? Xiangyi looked at Qin Wanyin in confusion. Why did she keep saying such strange things? Qin Wanyin was still adding scenes for herself. Maybe I'm too saintly. I can't read this kind of news at all. Every time I see it, I want to help others. Xiangyi found a basket and put 2 small jars of wine in it. She carried it with one hand and said, "It's okay. Kindness is when you feel pity for a person and want to help him. A saint is when you feel pity for a person and want to help the whole world." Qin Wanyin was secretly delighted. This idiot Xiangyi actually praised her for being kind? How brainless. The essence of charity, I think. Xiangyi explained her own understanding. I don't have the right to ask others to do something, but I can decide what I want to do. Immediately, netizens ridiculed, but you didn't do anything. Seeing this, Madame Tsen quickly got someone to cut Xiangyi's words out of context and posted them on the internet. Of course, she didn't forget to include the Spring Flower Foundation and Madame Tsen's charity. #Xiangyi says helping others is saintly. #Xiangyi doesn't have charity and instead doubts Madame Tsen. #Madame Tsen thought that this was going to be one of the top searches. However, she didn't expect that the spot she just bought would be pushed down again. Chapter 499. The trending topic was a news video posted by the Finance Channel's official Weibo account. In the past 2 years, the development of our national enterprises in Country A has been hindered repeatedly, especially the recent ban on the products of tomorrow's light technology, which has attracted widespread attention from all walks of life. The company's smart AI voice wearable product has triggered a technological revolution in the field, but it has been banned in Country A for no reason. The reporter stood in front of a magnificent building that looked like a court. In order to defend the legitimate rights and interests of our national enterprises, Tomorrow's Light has hired an excellent team of lawyers with lawyer Xiang from Lin Shen Law Firm as the core. Today is the day of the trial and it has been more than 6 hours since the start of the trial. I see lawyer Xiang. A large group of reporters swarmed over, not only from the local media but also from foreign media. Sanction stood in the crowd. Even if he wasn't in the center, he was still the most eye-catching one. Even after a long trial, the man was still elegant and didn't show a trace of fatigue. His tailored dark suit outlined his broad shoulders and long legs. His tie was meticulously tied and his hair was combed back, making him look like an elite. He lowered his eyes and adjusted his cuffs. The person beside him seemed to be saying something to him as he listened attentively with a frown. It was as if the ice on the cedar trees in the distant mountains were being melted by the sun. In the blink of an eye, the reporters had already squeezed in front of the lawyer team. Countless microphones and cameras were aimed at Sanction. Lawyer Xiang, what's the result? Lawyer Xiang, how are you feeling now? Lawyer Xiang, do you have anything to say? Sanction looked up. His face was chiseled as if it was carefully carved by God. We won, he said casually. The crowd cheered. Some people were so excited that they threw their hats and jackets into the air. The reporter from the Finance Channel couldn't control his emotions and shouted in a choked voice, "We won the trial. The national enterprises won. China's technology industry won." The video paused at the scene where Sanction's thin lips curled up slightly. At the most exciting moment, he smiled incomparably calmly. It was truly stunning, gentle, and inexplicably touching. The comments section was already in a mess. We'll get beaten if we fall behind. But we've become stronger now. The legal team has worked hard. I heard that lawyer Xiang has put in a lot of effort for this case. He's amazing, really. Sob, 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 I'm looking at Mr. Xiang's smile. I'm crying like a dog in front of the screen. He's withstanding so much pressure and yet he's still so calm. Mr. Xiang, Mr. Riseby. Needless to say, this Weibo post instantly became a trending topic. It completely suppressed the trending topic that Madame Tsen had bought. Madame Tsen was on the verge of breaking down. She called them. What are you doing? Why did my ranking drop again? The staff member was also very helpless. This is a big event. Such a sensational event has aroused everyone's passion. The real-time popularity is not something we can control. Madame Tsun took a step back and said tiredly, then guarantee me a spot in the top 5. This time there can't be any problems. After all, Qin Wanyin was only participating in 2 under one roof for one day. After tomorrow, how could she have such a good opportunity to promote the Spring Flower Fund? Before he could finish his sentence, the staff member said, I'm afraid I can't guarantee that because there's a new trending topic. Madame Tsun was confused. Chapter 500. She opened Weibo and as expected, the 4th trending topic was occupied by a term. Hashtag 2 under one roof went viral abroad. Hashtag Miss Tsun was speechless. What the hell is this? She clicked on the term and found that the details were that the overseas version of 2 under one roof had been released at midnight. So far, it had dominated all major foreign video websites and social media platforms. The total number of views had already exceeded more than 1 billion. In recent days, variety shows in various countries had developed greatly, and most of them were imported from overseas. Although there were also popular local variety shows, they didn't have much international influence. This time, 2 under one roof had achieved the opposite. For the first time, a Chinese variety show had a huge international influence. There were all sorts of comments below. Is this real data? Damn, this little lousy is awesome. It's inconvenient to watch live broadcasts overseas because the internet speed is too slow. I've been watching the edited version, but I didn't expect there to be an official version. Hurry up and support it. I've translated a few of the most liked comments on foreign video websites. Everyone have a taste. Mysterious cooking techniques from the East. This little fairy has satisfied all my imaginations of Chinese cuisine. So this is the difference between land civilization and ocean civilization. I'm very envious of such a beautiful rural life. God, please let me experience it once in my lifetime. All the major variety shows sent their blessings to 2 under one roof. Even the official Weibo account of Muyao Satellite TV also posted a Weibo post that read, "May Chinese variety shows get better and better." No matter how fierce the competition was in the country, they had always been united against a common enemy. 2 under one roof was fighting for the glory of Chinese variety shows. How could they drag them down at such a critical time? Of course, they would still have to compete and fight with each other later on. However, for a short period of time, the major variety shows reached a rare consensus. The netizens also felt honored and felt that they had a great time surfing the waves today. The melons were big and sweet and they were all filling. The popularity of the Spring Flower Fund dropped again and again, temporarily stopping at 5th place. Miss Tsun thought that she should be able to barely hold on to that position. But when she refreshed the page, she found that the number of terms related to the Spring Flower Fund had dropped again. Miss Tsun was speechless. She watched helplessly as the top trending topic was dropped. That's right, dropped. Madame Tsun went to ask around and found out that this position was specially reserved for major scientific discoveries or national news. As long as the conditions were met, they would unconditionally descend. No matter how much money was spent, it was impossible to suppress this trending topic. In other words, at this moment, the number 1 trending topic represented the official will. Hashtag Xiang Li is nominated for the Nobel Prize in Medicine. Hashtag Nanqing Daily V. Our country's Dr. Xiang Li discovered a new ingredient in the medicine used to treat cancer, sea primrose. For detailed research results, you can refer to the latest issue of The Lancet. Dr. Xiang had been nominated for the Nobel Prize in Medicine. Like, forward and congratulate Dr. Xiang. Once this Weibo post was posted, Weibo went into an uproar. The Nobel Prize. Someone questioned whether it was fake or not and was immediately rebuked. Are you blind? It's been officially certified. I just went to check the thesis. It's at a level that I, a medical noob, will never be able to write in my entire life. I humbly look up to the big shots. Hey, did you notice that the trending searches on Weibo today are all dominated by Xiangyi and Xiangyi's brothers? Chapter 501. Everyone seemed to have woken up from a dream. It wasn't obvious that Logic was on the hot search list, but Hades was the one who made it public. As for Sangchen, he almost never accepted interviews, but this time he accepted it for the first time. As for Xiang Li, the nomination for the Nobel Prize in Medicine was a secret. Unless the nominee was willing to reveal it. Could it be that he casually revealed the news of his nomination just to cover for his sister and suppress the other hot search lists? This conjecture was too unimaginable, but it was infinitely closer to reality. There was a lot of discussion on the internet. Among the loving family, a childish competition had begun. Sanbao, you smart people. You're all learning from me. Sibao, isn't it normal to be on the hot search list after winning a competition? Sanbao, bah. Don't think I don't know that you deliberately showed off your abs to the camera. Sibao. Unexpected. Bao, smart people? Smile, Sanbao, you are. Debao, colon? Seeing his brother's question mark, Xiang Qi trembled in front of the screen and frantically clicked on the delete option. Then he received a notification. This message cannot be deleted. Heaven wants me to die, Xiang Qi wailed. He felt that he would definitely be beaten up the next time he saw his brother. Xiangyi returned to the living room with the wine. Shui handed her her phone. Your phone keeps ringing. Did someone have something urgent to tell her? Xiangyi took it and realized that the group chat was vibrating. Her third brother was sending all kinds of kneeling and crying emojis. The corners of her lips curled up as she sent a cute picture. Xiaobao, your little cutie suddenly appeared. JPG in an instant. The brothers in the group all appeared. Sibao, sister, I won the competition and even won the MVP award. I'll give you the trophy when we get back. Sanbao, sister. I made you a new dress and leather shoes. There are also lace socks. Bao, little rabbit, how's your hand? Debao, rest well. As if he felt that he did not care enough about his sister, Sangchen furrowed his brows at the celebration party. He typed seriously as if he was dealing with a complicated case. Debao, Tutu, drink more hot water. Looking at her brother's concern for her, Xiangyi felt warm in her heart. She shared her recent daily life with her brothers and even sent a few photos to prove that she was in good health and in a good mood. She posted 5 photos and every man in front of the screen without exception began to save his sister's photo. However, as time passed, the 4 of them realized that something was wrong. Sibao, why are they all photos with brother Shi? Sanbao, I'm so angry. How can a man like him take a photo with my sister? Bao, smiley to Bao, ha. Seeing her brother's replies, Xiangyi quivered and came to her senses. However, she could not be blamed. Recently, the photos on her phone were all photos with Shui. She rarely took any photos. Most of them were taken by Shui or by the staff. She had no choice. Her boyfriend loved to take photos, so she could only spoil him. Little did she know that a certain best actor had long planned this. Xiangyi looked at her fingers guiltily. After hesitating for a few seconds, she made a bold move. System notification. Xiaobao has invited Shui to join the group chat. Debao? Bao? Sanbao? Sibao? The next second, Xiaobao, let me introduce to everyone, this is my boyfriend Shui Rose. Chapter 502. The loving family was in an uproar. Sangchen and Xiangli were still able to keep their cool, but Xiangyu and Xiangfeng had already gone crazy. One was an esports guru while the other was a sewing guru. The 2 of them were so fast that they spammed 99+ messages within minutes. If it weren't for Shui's message, the 2 of them would have spammed 999+ messages. Shui, hello brothers. The wavy lines successfully made the brothers grit their teeth. In Xiangyi's eyes, the girl rested her chin on her hand, thinking that her boyfriend was so cute. Even his message was so soft and cute. She shook her little finger and typed a message seriously. Xiaobao, Shui is the man I like and my brothers are my most important family. To me we are a loving family. Shake hands, loving family? Loving family my ass. The expressions of the brothers in front of the screen were getting worse and worse. On the balcony, Xiangyi was resting there. The program team had set up a safe zone. If she was tired from the live broadcast, she could go back to her room and rest for a while. Shui held the railing with both hands and flipped over easily. He sat down on the rattan chair next to Xiangyi and asked in a low voice, why did you suddenly give me a status? Xiangyi stared at him suspiciously. Boyfriend, why do I feel that you're so skilled at flipping over the balcony? Shui's expression didn't change. I've acted in similar scenes before. After a few takes, I know how to flip over. Is that so? Xiangyi blinked and asked a little embarrassedly, do you not want to make it public? I just feel that it's not good to hide it from my brothers. I'll listen to Sister E. Shui lowered his eyes. Sister E can do whatever she wants to me. Xiangyi's ears turned red. Then aren't you afraid that I'll do something bad to you? Shui looked up at her and smiled softly. Sister E, what bad things do you want to do? Can I spoil it? Xiangyi's ears turned even redder. She waved her hand and said, I was just talking nonsense. Alas, she couldn't lead Shui astray. The girl looked down at her phone and found that there were a few new messages in the group. Debao. Tutu, I've booked an early morning flight back to China. Air Bao. Little Rabbit, I'll look for you after I'm done with the Nobel Prize. Sanbao. Wait until I finish sewing the last dress for my sister. Sure Sui, I'll kill you. Sibao. Sister, wait for me to bring the trophy to you. By the way, how was the effect of smashing people with the trophy? Xiangyi. Her brothers didn't seem to like Sure Sui. Why was that? Sure Sui was so nice. The girl blamed herself and said, I'm sorry, if I had known I wouldn't have pulled you into the group. Sure Sui held her hand and gently pinched her fingertips. I'm very happy that Sister Yi brought me to meet her family. I feel like I have a few more family members. Thinking about how the Sure family's family ties were thin and how Sure Sui had been alone since he was young without his parents by his side, Xiangyi suddenly felt extremely sad. Her slender fingers passed through the man's slender fingertips and firmly interlocked with his. This is just an online meeting. Next time I'll bring you to meet them in real life. The girl promised firmly. I'll definitely protect you well. Sure Sui was slightly stunned. His dark eyes immediately lit up with a smile. Sister Yi, you're so nice. Xiangyi, you're nice too. Sure Sui chuckled. Are we mutually flattering each other? The girl shook her head. It's only right to praise your boyfriend. Bang. His heart felt like it had been targeted by a sniper. Sure Sui understood that he had nowhere to run. He had never wanted to run away. Chapter 503. The production team distributed a vegetable collection mission card. Tianji was particularly interested in planting vegetables and took his 2 disciples to the vegetable garden for a stroll. Ling Ye's body was weak, and he was already panting heavily after walking a short distance. You'd better listen to the doctor and exercise more. Tianji sounded stern, but he was actually feeling sorry for him and quickly handed him a tissue. Thank you, master. Ling Yi had never been willing to accept the kindness of others. No matter what, he would have to leave sooner or later. However, perhaps because of Xiangyi's influence, he suddenly felt that this old man was quite pleasing to the eye. He chatted with the old man about planting vegetables while picking vegetables from the basket on his back. Qin Wanyin found them to be country bumpkins and was unwilling to join them. She stood under the shade of a tree at the side, worried that the vegetable garden would dirty her expensive white shoes. She kept spraying sunscreen spray, for fear that the ultraviolet rays would make her tan. The more refined she was, the more the audience disliked her. Qin Wanyin, can you be more professional? You're filming a show, yet you're afraid of the sun and the dirt. Even Ling Yi is picking tomatoes, but Qin Wanyin isn't doing anything, is she? Qin Wanyin is so lazy. Sister Yi's hand is fractured and she could only carry the wine with one hand. Qin Wanyin didn't help at all. Even though the system reminded Qin Wanyin to get to work, Qin Wanyin still refused to move. Please, I'm the chosen one. Who would want to do such dirty and tiring work? Isn't it enough to be beautiful? Why do I have to be diligent? I don't want to be as silly as Xiangyi, who's looking for work when there's nothing to do. Besides, Mistson had promised to provide her with resources. What else did she have to worry about? Qin Wanyin eagerly opened her chat with Mistson, only to realize that she didn't reply to her message at all. What's going on? Didn't she promise to take me to the socialites' tea party? Qin Wanyin panicked and hurriedly opened Weibo, only to be dumbfounded. What's going on with this trending topic? Not only were the top 5 trending topics dominated, but there were also other trending topics that almost filled the top 20 trending topics. What does it mean to be on the list? The vegetable picking mission was completed. Qin Wanyin followed Tianji and Ling Yi in a daze. When Tianji saw that Ling Yi was struggling, he suggested, Wanyin, help Ling Yi share some of the burden. Ling Yi declined, there's no need for that, master. I still have the strength to do this. Qin Wanyin said, then I won't stand on ceremony with you. Netizens? Such a cute and pitiful little angel brother. You must be made of iron and blind to say such a thing, right? Coincidentally, they bumped into Sure Sui and Xiangyi on their way to Little Rabbit Farm. The two of them were driving a bumper car that no one knew where they got from. Sure Sui, who always wore high-end clothes and had an extraordinary bearing, was sitting in the bumper car with her long legs bent. She was slowly following behind Xiangyi's bumper car. He never seemed to mind doing childish things with Xiangyi. Xiangyi frowned when she saw Ling Yi panting. She jumped out of the car and walked over to Ling Yi. Give me the basket. Ling Yi subconsciously said, I'm a man, whoosh. Xiangyi didn't give him a chance to refuse. She easily picked up the basket with one hand and weighed it lightly. Little kid, don't carry such heavy things. You won't grow tall. She tossed the keys to Ling Yi. Drive it back. Ling Yi gulped. F***ck. It's over. He was really done for. Chapter 504. At the beginning, Ling Yi still wanted to play some tricks on Xiangyi, but now he had completely restrained himself. Subconsciously, he felt that those filthy things shouldn't appear in front of Xiangyi. Qin Wanyan's voice sounded at an untimely moment. Xiangyi, why are you so nice to Ling Yi? For a moment, Tianji's expression was extremely sullen. No matter how much he admired Qin Wanyan's talent in playing the Swana, he couldn't tolerate her low EQ. Shi Sui stepped on the brakes of the bumper car and tapped the steering wheel lazily. His deep peach blossom eyes narrowed slightly behind his glasses as he stared at the girl. Xiangyi said in a puzzled tone, "Isn't it natural for adults to take care of children? Besides, he's a child who's visiting my house." Qin Wanyan looked at Ling Yi, who was 180 centimeters tall, and sneered. Him? He's a child? Minors are all children, Xiangyi said. Ling Yi's heart suddenly warmed. Others might not understand Xiangyi's logic, but Shi Sui did. Before she became an adult, she had always been treated like a child by her family. Growing up in an environment where she was doted on, she wouldn't hesitate to be nice to others. Because in her world it was a matter of course. In the live stream, some netizens were getting restless. I'll stand for 1 second, I'll stand for 1 second. Ling Yi is so obedient and nurturing in front of Sister Yi. I'm going to knock it out. Gentle Sister X sickly brother, I love the redemption and healing type awe. Some netizens also suddenly realized something. I suddenly understand why Sister Yi is so nice to the puppy. It turns out that she treats him like a child. After comparing the EQ of Xiangyi and Qin Wanyan, Tianji let out a long sigh. Well, no one is perfect. After all, Qin Wanyan was his little disciple. If she didn't understand, he could teach her slowly in the future. However, at this moment, Tianji suddenly had a trace of doubt in his heart. Why had he been so impulsive as to accept Qin Wanyan as his disciple? It wasn't that he hadn't seen any good seedlings in the past few years. However, after Qin Wanyan played her Swana that day, he seemed to have been bewitched. He made the decision on the spot and even broke his own rule of not accepting any disciples. How strange. Ling Yi sat on the bumper car and was somewhat eager to give it a try. However, when he saw the basket in the girl's hand, he hesitated. Sister, can you carry something so heavy? Xiangyi said, I didn't take it. Qin Wanyan exclaimed, Xiangyi, I don't mean to criticize you, but how could you let Shirindi do such a thing? Before she could finish her pretentious words, she saw Xiangyi take out her phone and fiddle with it. Soon, a cute robot drove out from a nearby room, dragging a small cart behind it. Xiangyi put the basket on it. The robot sang nursery rhymes and pulled the basket full of vegetables to the designated destination. Humans are the most amazing creatures on Earth. They retain their fire seeds and eat cooked food. They have evolved intelligence and learn to make and use tools. However, the most incredible thing is that they often choose not to use them. After Xiangyi finished speaking, she looked at Qin Wanyan and imitated Tianji's words. I'm neither harsh nor malicious. I'm not hostile. I'm just expressing my literal meaning. I'm not sarcastic or hinting at anything. The above expression represents my personal opinion. I don't intend to cause a debate or encroach on public resources. Please forgive me for my inappropriate language. Qin Wanyan's face instantly turned the color of pig liver. What does Xiangyi mean? Is she mocking me for being brainless? Chapter 505. Hearing Xiangyi's words, the spicy tutu fans in the live stream were overjoyed. Ha, Sister E is indeed you're so good at retorting. When it comes to the importance of studying, Sister E is so impressive, unlike me who can say F***C everywhere. That's right, Qin Wanyan can totally get a tricycle or something to help her out. She's not doing any work, yet she's still mocking her. Is she here to be a guest or to be an ancestor? Qin Wanyan pondered for a long time and finally came up with a rebuttal. However, Xiangyi didn't even look at her and simply walked towards Shi Sui's bumper car. She noticed that Shi Sui was driving a two-person bumper car. She didn't know if it was a coincidence or a necessity. Handsome boy, can I hitch a ride? The girl seemed calm and composed, but in fact, she was so shy that her fingertips were curled up. Shi Sui smiled and said, Your Highness, please. Xiangyi's eyes curved into crescents as she lifted her skirt and bowed before getting into the bumper car. The interaction between the two was so natural and sweet that the netizens in the live stream who were still in favor of the evil couple just a moment ago had vividly demonstrated what it meant to be a traitor. F***ck. I'm dead. A bumper car is still a car, sisters. Boo-hoo, I'm so envious of this kind of interaction. Sure Sui's sister Yi's way of getting along is so comfortable. Sure Sui started the car and placed his well-defined hands on the cartoon-like steering wheel. His fair and slender body was beautiful, and every screenshot was a benefit of his handheld control. Sister. Ling Yi murmured. Xiangyi looked at him in confusion. The young man's skin was pale and only his lips were red. He was so thin that he looked like he could be blown away by a gust of wind. However, a blazing light flickered in his amber eyes. However, everything was well hidden by Ling Yi. Sister, come back soon, I'll be good and wait for you. The young man tilted his head and smiled. Behind him was a gorgeous sea of flowers, a fountain flowing and white pigeons flying in the air. It was as if an angel had descended to earth. It was like the cleanest and purest smile in the world. Many people were screaming in the bullet screen, "My dear Ruan, Grandma's brother is so cute." However, Xiangyi's response to Ling Yi was an indifferent, "Oh." Ling Yi, the young man's eyes drooped in desolation. His back was against the light, and his entire being sank into the shadows, making him appear even more lonely. Tianji sighed again. Why couldn't these two disciples of his let him be at ease? The four sufferings of life are greed, anger and infatuation, resentment and hatred, love and separation, and being unable to obtain. If this brat did not withdraw in time, he would suffer greatly. When Xiangyi saw the pitiful look on Ling Ye's face, her cherry lips moved. She wanted to tell him that there were snacks in the living room, but Sure Sui suddenly started the car and drove forward without looking back. The girl tilted her head. "You're speeding." Sure Sui raises her eyebrows. "Are there any traffic laws here?" "Yes." Xiangyi pointed at herself and said seriously, "This is my home. I have the final say." Sure Sui slowed down the car. Xiangyi praised, "That's a good boy. It's dangerous to drive too fast." When the untimely CP fans saw this scene, their hearts skipped a beat. Sister Yi wouldn't treat Sure Sui as a child, would she? No. Wouldn't that become Sure Sui's one-sided love? The next second, Sure Sui chuckled softly and said leisurely, "Okay sister, Xiangyi!" Exclamation point. She widened her doe eyes and looked at Sure Sui in disbelief. The man's voice was tired and hoarse and it fell into her red ears. "Sister, I didn't know that you get shy so easily." Chapter 506. That last syllable was mellow and flirtatious, and it was even more magnetic after it was deliberately lowered. Xiangyi wasn't the only one who was stunned. The netizens watching the live stream went crazy. "This man is so darn sweet. I'm inhaling oxygen. Oh my god, Shurindi is so good at this. Damn it, I never thought that I would feel dizzy and my legs would turn to jelly just because he called me sister. This is worse than fake alcohol." Xiangyi pinched her palms. Her ears were already red, but she was still stubborn. How can you call me sister? You're clearly older than me." "Can't I call you sister just because I'm older than you?" the man asked matter-of-factly. His low chuckle was like an electric current that bloomed like little flowers. "Sister, do you think I'm old?" Xiangyi was speechless. She took a deep breath and repeated it several times before finally calming down. "I don't. You can call me whatever you want." The girl pretended to be calm and took out her cell phone. "I'll ask Ling Yi and the rest what they want to eat tonight." She had forgotten that she had already blacklisted Ling Yi. However, Sure Sui had no idea that she had blacklisted him. He squinted his peach blossom eyes and turned the steering wheel. His low and hoarse voice sounded a little aggrieved. "Am I not good enough? Why don't you ask me what I want to eat, sister?" Xiangyi's hand trembled and she almost dropped her cell phone. She swallowed her saliva and said, "Don't call me sister." "Oh? But didn't you just say that I can call you whatever I want?" Xiangyi suddenly felt that she had dug a hole, and she had jumped into it without thinking about her own safety. The blush spread from her ears to her milky white swan neck, standard square shoulders and thin back. Xiangyi put on the hood of her coat as if she was trying to deceive herself. Then what do you want to eat?" "I want to eat," Sure Sui said lazily. "Sister." The netizens watching the live stream were shocked. This is a magical couple. They're actually giving out love online. "You want to eat, sister?" What kind of words are these? After a while, Sure Sui said slowly, "Let me think." "Don't think. I'll eat, sister." Friendly reminder, Tutu's braised, spicy and barbecued dishes are delicious. That's right. Eating in the study, eating on the windowsill and eating in the kitchen is also delicious. For a moment, the bullet screen was filled with comments. The car was so fast that it was impossible to catch up with the car even when it was drifting around a bend. To Xiangyi, every time he called her sister, it was like a sniper had accurately hit her heart. Oh. The girl covered her face with her hands. She couldn't take it anymore. You take your time to think about it. I want to get out of the car and take a walk. You want to run away after getting in my car? Sure, Sui laughed. It's too late. Hearing this, the netizens expressed that today's sugar intake was, it's over the limit. The scene cut to the courtyard. Tianji was so tired that he gasped for breath. He reached for the cup but it was empty. Qin Wanyan pretended not to notice and continued to play with her phone. Tianji wanted to say something, but he didn't say anything in the end. Ling Yi, on the other hand, got up and poured a glass of water for Tianji. The bullet screen comments scolding Qin Wanyan flooded. Qin Wanyan's fans were indignant and brought up the topic of Xiangyi's charity fraud again. Unfortunately, no one fell for their tricks this time. Some Spicy Tutu fans questioned, even if Sister E didn't do charity, did your Qin Wanyan do charity? Qin Wanyan's fans were not confident. Our immortal Qin isn't a fair-skinned, rich and beautiful girl like Xiangyi. Spicy Tutu fans asked again, then did you do charity? Smile, Qin Wanyan's fans. I'm just an ordinary person. The netizens were dumbfounded. Isn't this a little too much? Chapter 507. We're both humans, so why does Xiangyi have to do charity while Qin Wanyan has all kinds of excuses? The Spicy Tutu fans quickly found a loophole in the other party's words and retaliated. You're attacking Sister E because Sister E doesn't do charity, but what have you done? Sister E didn't steal, rob, or break the law. Her whole family is made of elites who rely on their own hands to earn money. It's fine if she doesn't want to donate. I'm dying of laughter. You guys are really good at using double standards. Sister E is still so diligent even though she's injured. What about your Qin Wanyan? She doesn't even give her master a sip of water. How awesome. Qin Wanyan's fans gradually lost the upper hand. In the living room, Qin Wanyan anxiously waited for Mistsun's reply, but to no avail. Instead, as soon as she opened Weibo, she was flooded with negative comments about her. Qin Wanyan was dumbfounded. Why are all the netizens scolding me? When she saw the comments that said she had no EQ, was lazy, and that her fans were annoying, Qin Wanyan panicked. She had participated in Two Under One Roof, to gain more fans, not to lose them. Oh right, Xiangyi's donation fraud. Her eyes darted around, wanting to continue making a fuss about this matter. Hence, she pretended to slip, and liked the Spring Flower Foundation's Weibo post stating that Xiangyi didn't donate. However, at the same time, a user named Splendid Shanhua posted a long post on Weibo that went viral. Splendid Shanhua. Today I saw Sister Xiangyi getting scolded for a donation fraud. I went to watch the live stream and Sister E didn't say that she donated money. I don't know why it was misinterpreted. Sister Xiangyi is really a very nice person. The primary school in our mountain village was built by her with donations a few years ago. The school is very clean and beautiful. She's really a very considerate and warm person. Not only did she build the school, but she also provides 3 meals a day for free. Those who have never experienced hunger might not be able to understand how blissful it is to have a full meal for the first time. The school's washroom also provided free toilet paper and sanitary napkins for the girls to use. I'm really grateful. If it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't have been able to use sanitary pads every month and could only use paper pads. I used to think that menstruation was a shameful and expensive thing. It's no exaggeration to say that it was Sister Xiangyi who gave me dignity. I want to say that she has really done a lot. She has done very well. He hoped that there would be more kindness, more gentleness, and more beauty in this world. Just like an elder sister. Not only was this Weibo post simple and touching, but there were also pictures attached. The buildings in the photo, although not as luxurious as the city, were clean and beautiful. In the washroom there were female products. Although they were just ordinary brands, they were enough to solve some of the girls' problems. At first, it was Spicy Tutu fans who reposted, commented, and liked the post. But as it gained popularity, more and more people were surprised to find out that Xiangyi had not faked the donation. Instead, she had really done charity. With the first person who bravely spoke out, more and more people who had been helped by Xiangyi came forward. In the end, the netizens did an incomplete count and found that Xiangyi and the Xiang family had donated to dozens of primary schools, orphanages, and public health organizations. After conversion, the amount spent on charity each year was an astronomical figure. However, the Xiang family had never publicized it. The tables had turned. The entire internet was in an uproar. Chapter 508. Xiangyi and the Xiang family are actually doing so much charity in secret. The netizens continued to gossip and realized that the charity that the Xiang family was involved in was very clear about the details of the funds, and they wouldn't just ignore it. For example, the school's 3 free meals, and even the price of the potatoes, chili and vegetables for each meal would be publicly announced. It was clear at a glance. It was pure and innocent. Seeing this, the netizens had mixed feelings. It was fine to do charity if one had the money or the time. However, anyone could tell that he was definitely not putting on a show. They were really doing it with their hearts. The netizens' comments gradually became more objective. To be honest, Xiangyi and the Xiang family are quite nice. We have to wait for the news now, maybe there will be a twist. The free meals and free female products really deserve a like. They're so kind. The netizens followed the clues and found another strange thing. The Spring Flower Foundation had clearly received so many donations, but why didn't they disclose the whereabouts of the funds? Someone questioned the Spring Flower Foundation's Weibo account, but the comment was instantly deleted. The more it was deleted, the greater the backlash. More and more people questioned it, and some even threatened to report it to the relevant departments. Only then did Mistson get anxious and get someone to rush out a list and make it public. However, everyone was confused when they saw it. Sanitary pads, 10 packs per person, 500 yuan. Toilet paper, 10 packs per person, 200 yuan. The netizens were speechless. 50 yuan for a pack of sanitary pads? 20 yuan for a pack of toilet paper? This is too much charity, right? To be honest, instead of donating imported and expensive female products to these girls, it's better to provide cheap female products for free like the school that Xiangyi built. That can help more people. Am I the only one who thinks that there's something wrong with the list? This list is obviously a lie. When I did an asset evaluation for the company before, I saw a company's financial statement that showed that each employee used up a few thousand yuan of toilet paper every month on average. Actually, the purchasing department was just greedy. Without comparison, there would be no harm. The Spring Flower Foundation originally had a good reputation, but it was precisely because it rode on Xiangyi's popularity that people found out about the charity that Xiangyi was doing. Comparing the two, the Spring Flower Foundation suddenly seemed less formal and professional. There were also public relations companies in the industry that revealed that the annual marketing expenses of the Spring Flower Fund were as high as tens of millions. The netizens, especially those who had donated money to the Spring Flower Foundation, were furious. We are donating money for you to do charity, not for you to use it for marketing purposes. Madame Tsen also did not escape the fate of being exposed. With the help of the resourceful netizens, her dark history of being a mistress and engaging in pyramid schemes was all exposed. Only now did everyone realize that the Spring Flower Foundation and Qin Wanyan's actions were to trample on Xiangyi. Damn it. They were actually being used as cannon fodder. Everyone worked together. First, they reported the Spring Flower Foundation for breaking the law. Then they rushed to Qin Wanyan's Weibo. Qin Wanyan's fans, on the other hand, were slapped in the face as hard as they had been cursing at the beginning. She didn't have many fans left. After this incident, even the most loyal fans woke up and left on a large scale. When Qin Wanyan saw this, her expression was one of shock and fear. She hurriedly sent another message to Madame Tsen, only to find that she had been blacklisted by Madame Tsen. Qin Wanyan? Chapter 509. An unprecedented sense of defeat engulfed him. Qin Wanyan couldn't understand. She was clearly the chosen one. She was chosen to transmigrate and was about to achieve a perfect life. Why did things turn out this way? It's Xiangyi, it's all Xiangyi's fault. Why does she have to do so much charity work? If she didn't do it, I wouldn't be implicated. Qin Wanyan's resentment was all transferred to Xiangyi. On the other side, Madame Tsen wasn't having a good time either. She had already received many calls from socialites and madams, all of whom were asking her about the Spring Flower Foundation. After a round of Tai Chi, Madame Tsen was exhausted. Her phone rang again. She picked it up to see that it was from her assistant. Madame Tsen answered impatiently, "What's the matter? Why must you bother me at this time?" Her assistant trembled and said, "Madame Tsen, bad news, something has happened." New gossip broke out on Weibo. The relevant department announced on Weibo that they had begun investigating the Spring Flower Foundation's illegal fundraising case. The netizens were in an uproar. Oh my, it seems like there's really something wrong with the Spring Flower Foundation. Otherwise, they wouldn't have used the word case. This is tantamount to committing a crime. The Spring Flower Foundation, which had made such a big splash, probably didn't expect such a fate to befall them. Some netizens sighed and quoted a line from a play, Watching him build a vermilion tower, watching him entertain guests, watching him collapse. Madame Tsin's social media app suddenly deleted her Weibo. It was as if she had disappeared from the internet. The netizens guessed that she was probably afraid that the Weibo posts where she flaunted her wealth would be found. There were laws that forbade one from doing so. If one violated the law, one should never take any chances. Little Rabbit Farm. Shui parked the two-person bumper car and Xiangyi jumped down lightly. The man behind her reminded her helplessly, "Be careful." Got it. The general manager of Little Rabbit Farm, Wang Xuanli, came to welcome her. "Missy, you're here. Do you want to try the new products?" It was precisely because Xiangyi established Little Rabbit Farm that many people's employment problems were solved. Furthermore, after learning the skills, they could leave and start their own businesses. Wang Xuanli was truly grateful to Xiangyi from the bottom of his heart. Okay. Xiangyi took 2 steps before she stopped and turned around as if she had thought of something. Wang Xuanli turned his head in confusion and asked, "What's wrong, Missy?" "Wait, Shui." Wang Xuanli, "Why does it feel like Missy is still a student waiting to go to the bathroom with her best friend?" Shui moved his long legs and walked towards Xiangyi with a smile. Even if Xiangyi didn't have to wait for him, he could still catch up to her quickly. But the feeling of someone waiting for him, it was really different. The Shui sisters in front of the screen sensed that Shui seemed to be more relaxed. He had always been polite to people, but he was very distant. However, in front of Xiangyi he was especially happy and at ease. Although he didn't want to admit it, but they had to admit, Shui didn't like Xiangyi for nothing. Wang Xuanli brought the two of them to sit down beside an old sycamore tree. The tree crown was lush and there were stone tables and stools. The weather was light and breezy, making them feel relaxed. "This is the layout we made according to Miss Yi's recipe. There are a total of 3 flavors: onion oil noodles, meat sauce noodles, and a special spicy sauce noodles." Wang Xuanli introduced them one by one. The netizens watching the live stream were excited. They're finally going to release a new product. Chapter 5:10. I love noodles so much they actually came up with 3 flavors at once. Buy it all. Must buy it all. To the people in front, wake up. Little Rabbit Farm's online store is all about snatching. It's not a dog's head that you can buy whenever you want. Amidst everyone's anticipation, Wang Xuanli tore open the packaging of the noodles. The bag adhered to Little Rabbit Farm's usual design, simple and elegant, with a cute rabbit logo printed on it. After opening it, there was a bag of noodles and a bag of condiments inside. The noodles were semi-finished products, so the noodles had to be cooked first. Wang Xuanli had prepared 3 small electric cookers. "Missy, shall I cook?" Shui naturally took the noodles and said, "I'll do it." No, you're a superstar, how can you do such a thing?" Wang Xuanli was a little nervous, but when he saw Xiangyi smiling at Shui, he suddenly understood. Wow, Miss Yi's gaze is so similar to the way she looks at spicy rabbit heads. Miss Yi is lusting after this man's body. But this superstar is really good looking. Her nose is a nose, her eyes are eyes, and her legs are long. A simple and honest smile gradually appeared on Wang Xuanli's face. The noodles were soon cooked. Shui scooped the noodles into a bowl and added the condiments accordingly. The pale yellow buckwheat noodles were thin and tender, and after mixing the condiments well, they appeared bright and smooth. "Try it." Shui handed a pair of chopsticks to Xiangyi with a gentle gaze. Xiangyi tasted the onion oil noodles first. The first thing that entered her nose was the rich aroma of onion, but it didn't seem too oily. She nodded and commented, "The noodles are smooth, the onion oil is fragrant, and the saltiness and sweetness are just right." The noodles in the 3 bags were all the same, the only difference was the condiments. Next was the meat sauce noodles. The meat sauce wasn't too finely chopped, which gave it a meaty texture. The pork used was fat and lean, which made it fragrant enough. The sauce is on the sweet side, those who like sweet things should like this. After Xiangyi commented, she asked Wang Xuanli to mail a box of noodles to her uncle, Xiang Feng. Last was the spicy sauce noodles. The chili was a variety grown in Little Rabbit Farm. It was very spicy, but it was more fragrant than normal chili. When the red-hot sauce was sprinkled on it, it made people salivate. Xiangyi took a bite and her eyes lit up. She wanted to eat more, but Shui took away the small bowl in front of her. "Your hand hasn't recovered yet, so you shouldn't eat heavy food. Just one more bite, just one more bite. Be a good girl, Sister Yi," Shui said with a teasing smile. "Or do you want me to continue calling you sister?" "Xiangyi, I'm not eating any more. I can resist the temptation of delicious food, but I can't resist the temptation of a boyfriend." The couple's fans were very satisfied as they ate their candies. The other netizens were already drooling. Sister Yi's standards are too high, right? I can smell the fragrance even through the screen. Ah, it's sugar-free buckwheat noodles. I must have such healthy food. Don't you guys feel like watching Sister Yi eat makes you feel especially appetizing? I've already started watching it as a mukbang. The girl didn't eat the noodles slowly, but because of her small face, her cheeks would puff up like a little hamster that had stolen food. Moreover, she was very serious about everything she ate. She gave people the feeling that everything she ate was delicious. After she announced that the product had passed the test, Wang Xuanli said, "Then I'll get someone to put it up for sale in the online store." Okay, done. Why is it suddenly taken off the shelves? Chapter 511. Huh. Xiangyi was puzzled. Is there a problem with the internet? Wang Xuanli refreshed the page, but it still showed that the product had been taken off the shelves. He scratched his head, his tanned face full of confusion. I'll get someone to take a look. Wang Xuanli was a professional when it came to growing vegetables, but he wasn't familiar with the business process of an online store. Could it be that the keywords violated the rules so it was taken off the shelves by the officials? Xiangyi guessed. In the live stream the fans were yelling, "Sister Yi, wake up. It's sold out. How many years have you guys been single? Why is it gone as soon as I clicked on the page? I'm crying, it's sold out in 10 seconds. Even an internet celebrity store wouldn't sell out so quickly, right? Sister Yi is comparable to a live streamer." The technician quickly gave Wang Xuanli a reply. It's sold out? Wang Xuanli was dumbfounded. We prepared a lot of stock this time, there are thousands of servings. Little Rabbit Farm had all the necessary procedures, but in order to pursue quality products, the scale was not large. It was almost equivalent to the output of a small studio. A few thousand servings was really a lot. Besides, the mixed noodles this time weren't cheap either. There were 38 small servings and 58 large servings. Wang Xuanli thought that it would be a little difficult to sell. A foodie fan of Little Rabbit Farm complained in the live stream. Wang Xuanli, do you have a misunderstanding of the word, a lot? Who can eat a few thousand servings? Hurry up and produce. Do you have enough manpower in the factory? If not, I'll apply for a job right now. Xiangyi was also a little surprised by this figure. She didn't pay much attention to the online store and didn't care much about the income of the online store. Most of it was used for the Little Rabbit Farm Research Fund. It turns out that our family's products are selling quite well? Xiangyi exclaimed. The netizens were speechless. Is this the frustration of a rich woman? Can't she even manage her own business? Wang Xuanli, then I'll go arrange the production plan. Xiangyi, don't worry about the production, we must ensure the quality. After a pause, she tilted her head and asked Shui, what do you think? Wang Xuanli was stunned and subconsciously looked at Shui. This. Missy, don't tell me you're not only lusting after my body, but also my heart. Shui said gently, Sister Yi is right. I'll listen to Sister Yi. Okay. Xiangyi nodded. That's all for now. I'll go back and study the proportion of the chili oil formula. Wang Xuanli was overjoyed. Missy, your chili oil will definitely sell well. He had tasted the chili oil made by Xiangyi, and the taste was really amazing. If he put it into the porridge, he wouldn't even need to add any other ingredients. He would be able to drink the entire bowl of porridge with a mouthful of fragrance. The foodie fans were both excited and upset. What made him excited was that the products of Little Rabbit Farm would definitely be of high quality. The worst part was that they had money but couldn't spend it. How could they do business like this? As a result, the comments in the live stream became like this. Sister E, I have money. Please take my money. I have a friend who has cancer. I want to try Sister Yi's chili oil dog head while I'm still alive. F***ck, a certain second-hand platform is already reselling Little Rabbit Farm's noodles. The small portion has already risen to 200 yuan per bag. F***ck, it's so expensive, don't buy it. This is inflating the prices. To the person in front, I don't believe you. You must have secretly taken photos. Ahem, don't expose me even if you can see through it. The comments were harmonious and the hashtag 10 seconds off the shelves horrifying hashtag climbed to the bottom of the trending searches. Chapter 512. The operator behind online celebrity peeler accounts was the person who had once defamed Xiangyi to gain popularity. Ever since he discovered that marketing accounts could be monetized through traffic, he had applied for several accounts. At first, he didn't operate very well, and because he didn't know the rules, he was reported to have his account banned several times. Later on, he got the hang of it and slowly built up the account. He even signed a contract with a professional public relations company. The man in front of the screen was unshaven. His computer, tablet, and phone screens were all different. Two under one roof was his main focus. When he saw the trending topic of 10 seconds down, he began typing furiously. The vase fairy gave up her career as a celebrity and went to live stream to earn money? She's too lowly. Halfway through his typing, the man scratched his head in annoyance, thinking about how the public opinion on the internet had been trending in a positive direction recently. He tapped on the table anxiously, and when he saw a certain streamer on another screen who was trying his best to sell goods, he suddenly thought of a good idea. The man deleted all the words he had just typed and replaced them with new content. Online celebrity peeler accounts v. Sister Yi's live stream was taken down in 10 seconds. On the other hand, a certain top streamer, Yen Kai Kai, has been getting worse and worse recently. If Sister Yi were to live stream, these live streamers would probably be starving. This account had a lot of fans to begin with, and with such provocative content, Yen Kai Kai's fans were the first to rush to the battlefield. Are you crazy? Some time ago there was a discount on e-commerce, so sales were high. Now sales are slowly falling. This is a normal market trend, okay? Take away our Kai Kai. We can't compare to celebrities, but live streamers like Kai Kai are the top streamers, arms akimbo. I'm laughing so hard. Kai Kai is so lucky to have been trampled on by the A-list actress Jianghu. Are you in such a hurry to earn money to go home and visit your mother's grave? As the top livestream streamer, Yen Kai Kai had a steady stream of viewers every day and had a group of loyal fans. When they saw Yen Kai Kai being trampled on, they subconsciously vented their resentment on Jianghu. Other marketing accounts followed suit and used this as a starting point to successfully pit the relationship between Jianghu and the live streamer against each other. Nowadays, the fans of streamers who sell goods can't be underestimated. Moreover, the fans buy things in the live broadcast room every day. In addition to selling goods, the streamer will also chat a little. After a long time, the relationship with the streamer is like a friend. Most people scoffed when they saw celebrities being defamed, thinking that it was just boring gossip. But seeing his friend being belittled, how could he bear it? Intolerable. All the major marketing accounts fell into a chaotic battle. Both sides clung to their own views and quarreled fiercely. Back in the living room, Li Jianyu suddenly cued Jianghu. Sister Yi, someone is looking for you. She was puzzled. May I ask who you are? Li Jianyu coughed. Yen Kai Kai, he's a streamer. He wants to get to know you. The fans of Two Under One Roof and Yen Kai Kai basically didn't overlap. Whether it was from the perspective of interests or public opinion, Li Jianyu felt that it was better to speak openly. Yen Kai Kai also started a live broadcast. Both parties connected their microphones and started a video call. Hello, Sister Yi. Hello, Shui. Hello, Teacher Tian. Yen Kai Kai had a lively and cheerful personality, so he took the initiative to greet them. I'm Yen Kai Kai, you can call me Kai Kai. This scene provoked Yen Kai Kai's fans, who left angry comments. Kai Kai, blink if you're threatened. Chapter 513. SOB, Kai Kai is so pitiful. Is he being forced to connect to the mic? So what if he's rich? Can he do whatever he wants just because he's rich? Why is he bullying us like this? The fans were prejudiced and thought that Yen Kai Kai had been forced to connect to the mic, so they vented all their anger. Yen Kai Kai's assistant was constantly paying attention to the comments, and he would also glance at the comments from time to time. Seeing that the bullet screen was filled with such angry comments, Yen Kai Kai hurriedly explained with a smile. Sister Yi kidnapped me? Oh my god, is there such a good thing? I'm afraid that Sister Yi's family will go bankrupt. Yen Kai Kai used to be a foodie livestream streamer, and unlike other live streamers who couldn't eat, he really had a huge appetite. His ability to eat was a favorite meme of his fans. With him adjusting the atmosphere, the fans calmed down a little. Li Jianyu was a little worried, afraid that Jianghu wouldn't be able to handle Yen Kai Kai's awkward silence, so he frantically gestured to Shui, telling him to get ready for an emergency. Unexpectedly, not only did Jianghu manage to handle it, she even did it beautifully. Bankrupt my family? That might be a little difficult. Jianghu counted for him seriously. I have dozens of little black pigs, more than 20 chickens, more than a dozen ducks and geese. The more serious she was, the cuter the contrast. The audience was tickled, and the comments in the two live streams were visibly harmonious. Yen Kai Kai's assistant, Guangguan, was a lively girl. Hearing this, she said, You can't move aside or else you'll be like a pig in a granary. Yen Kai Kai pretended to be angry. Guangguan, you can't be like this. Our friendship is coming to an end. Guangguan winked at him. When friendship comes to an end, Can the sparks of love be ignited? Yen Kai suddenly blushed and stuttered, unable to speak. The two had worked together for a long time and were obviously in love with each other. However, Yen Kai was thin-skinned when it came to relationships, so the two didn't break the ice. Hence, Guangguan flirted with him on a daily basis, which made Yen Kai shy. Their interactions were particularly popular with the fans. Yen Kai and the others were mature streamers, and they quickly stabilized the situation. Xiangyi naturally chatted with them. Tianji even came over to tell a joke. Shui stood aside and gazed at Xiangyi with a smile. This time it could be said that he had used facts to shatter the rumors. Xiangyi and Yen Kai were not on bad terms. The audience gradually relaxed. From time to time they would laugh in front of the screen. On the other side in the glass greenhouse, Qin Wanyin paced back and forth anxiously. When Lingyi came over, she threw a barrage of questions at him. Lingyi, are you crazy? Do you know the consequences of not completing the mission? I know, Sister Wanyin. Lingyi lowered his head meekly like a stray cat on a rainy day. Why are you angry? Did I do something wrong? Under her drooping eyelashes she was laughing at herself. I've always been a lunatic. Qin Wanyin said angrily, didn't you say that joining two under one roof would help my career? But look at what the netizens are saying about me on the internet. Lingyi said innocently, Sister Wanyin, I didn't know about the Spring Flower Fund. Qin Wanyin choked. Her eyes darted around and she felt very guilty. Indeed, Mistson was not introduced to her by Lingyi. She was the one who contacted her, she said weakly, so are you blaming me for messing things up? How could you do that? Chapter 5:14. Lingyi covered his mouth with his finger and coughed a few times. I'm sorry. I will do my best to help you. Sister, please calm down. It's not good for your health if you get angry. The more he accepted it, the more Qin Wanyin despised him. Qin Wanyin had a sense of superiority in front of Lingyi. She felt that Lingyi was like an object that existed for her. So what if she scolded him? If she couldn't complete her mission, then Lingyi would be trapped here for the rest of his life. Thinking of this, Qin Wanyin threatened, Little brother, if I don't have a good life, then everyone can forget about it. So, can you be more sensible? The young man nodded. I will. I will definitely think of a way to make Sister Wanyin popular. But, sister, you... He wanted to say something but stopped. Qin Wanyin thought she was smart. After giving him a slap, she quickly gave him a sweet date. She said softly, Lingyi, if you have something to say, just say it. I treat you like my own little brother. Lingyi looked up. Sister Wanyin, can you listen to me in the future? I won't harm you, but sister's luck isn't too good. That's why so many accidents have happened. He was being tactful and didn't directly say that Qin Wanyin's brain wasn't good. Qin Wanyin believed him and felt that he made a lot of sense. Yes, she was just unlucky this time. Who would have thought that Mistson would fail so quickly? She even caused her to be slandered by netizens. If she had listened to Lingyi and played the Suona, although it was a little old-fashioned, she would have been able to gain fans. Qin Wanyin regretted it. She quickly said, Okay, then I will listen to you in the future. Little brother, you must help me. After talking nicely for a long time, Qin Wanyin finally returned to the living room with a dry mouth and tried to get some camera time. However, as soon as she stepped out of the glass greenhouse, she was stopped by the staff. Sorry, Miss Qin, you can't enter the live broadcast area. Qin Wanyin was confused. What? I'm today's guest. This is a notice from the production team. We hope you won't make things difficult for us. Otherwise, we will have to call the bodyguards. Xiangyi's brothers were very supportive. They arranged 10 bodyguards for her and now they were taking shifts in the manor every day. Qin Wanyin thought of something and her expression changed drastically. Is this Xiangyi's doing? Did she purposely not let me participate? Get out of my way, I'm going to reason with her. On what basis? What right did that fool have to suppress her? The staff refused to budge. Miss Qin, if you continue to be unreasonable, I'll really have to take action. Qin Wanyin, do you believe that I'll expose you on the internet? Let the netizens know how weird your production team is. How dare they not allow guests to participate in the recording? She kept talking. The staff member was really annoyed and interrupted her directly. It's not Sister E. It's Teacher Tian. Qin Wanyin was stunned. The staff said angrily, Teacher Tian said that you're not allowed to record. He said that you're embarrassing the sect. She even secretly apologized to Sister E, ensuring D. No, he's my master, how could he treat me like this? Qin Wanyin was extremely flustered. She despised Tianji for being a country bumpkin, but without him she was nothing. The staff member looked at her with pity. Teacher Tian also said that his ability is limited and he can't teach you. Miss Qin, you are no longer Teacher Tian's disciple. Chapter 5:15. Boom. Like a bolt from the blue, Qin Wanyan's confidence was completely destroyed at this moment. How could this be? She was dumbfounded, completely unwilling to accept this reality. Teacher Tian clearly liked the Swana she played so much. Qin Wanyan felt a chill run down her spine. She felt like she had been kicked into a quagmire before she could climb to the top of the clouds. Not far behind her, Ling Yi watched this scene calmly. The reason why Tianji accepted Qin Wanyan as his disciple was not only because Qin Wanyan exchanged for the Swana skill card from the system, but also because he used a small tool. The tool was a reward he received after completing a mission in another world. It was not very useful, but it had a bewitching effect. He was just adding fuel to the fire. If Qin Wanyan let nature take its course and did not cause any trouble, Tianji would not think too much even if he noticed something unusual. Instead, he would guide and train Qin Wanyan well and do his best to fight for resources for this disciple of his. This could be seen from the fact that he was willing to bring Qin Wanyan to participate in the program. However, Qin Wanyan's performance was not just passable, it was terrible. Ling Ye's best outcome was that Tianji would be disappointed in Qin Wanyan and ignore her for a while. This would hinder Qin Wanyan from completing the mission quickly. He did not expect Tianji to be so ruthless. This was good too. If Qin Wanyan could not complete her mission, he could continue to stay in this world. I want to see my master. Get out of the way. Get lost. Qin Wanyan was so agitated that she wanted to play the Swana in front of Tianji again. However, the staff had long disliked her. Please, our sister E is not someone you can step on as you please. Aha. He called the bodyguards and dragged Qin Wanyan away. Qin Wanyan looked so beautiful when she came, but when she was dragged away, she was in a sorry state. No, you can't do this. Her cries gradually faded away, but no one sympathized with her. The sound insulation in the living room was excellent. Not a single sound could be heard from outside. After a short conversation, both sides worked together to clarify the groundless rumors. Yan Kaikai's live stream traffic increased greatly. It could be said that he had profited from taking the initiative to show goodwill. He was currently the well-deserved number one among the live streamers who were carrying goods. Second only to Yan Kaikai was Hao Han, who was always ridiculed as number two. The two of them were competitors and their popularity was usually very close. Moreover, Hao Han had recently obtained a lot of goods at low prices, and it seemed to be a step ahead of Yan Kai. Of course, Vast C Team was not willing to see Yan Kai become popular. They reacted very quickly and soon arranged the Water Army to lead the rhythm. I'm Sister Yi's fan. There's a rumor that she's trying to ride on Sister Yi's popularity. Previously, I bought fake goods from Yan Kai's livestream. My heart aches for our Sister Yi, I still have to talk to him. I really can't stand Yan Kai's livestream. It's nothing more than a different form of TV shopping. Xiangyi and Shuringdi's livestream variety show is still better, plus, the vast livestream style is also good. Public opinion seemed to be as quiet as the surface of the sea, but in fact, undercurrents were surging and spreading on the internet. It's getting late, everyone can start preparing dinner. Li Jianyu smiled as he handed out mission cards to everyone. Everyone had one except for Xiangyi. The girl looked around and asked in confusion, "Where's mine?" Sister Yi, you have a special mission today, Li Jianyu deliberately teased her. Act cute and I'll tell you. Chapter 5:16. As soon as he said that, the live stream became lively. Son, how long have you been in bed? TSK. Unfilial son, how can you talk to Sister E like that? How can you have such shameless thoughts? Isn't it just Sister E acting coquettishly? Who wants to see it? Super soft voice, hurry up, I want to see it, I want to see it. Hearing the request to act cute, Xiangyi was stunned. Before she could react, Ruan Qing had already put on a pair of cat ears on her head. I haven't agreed yet, Xiangyi protested. Ruan Qing smiled and stroked her head. It's pretty, isn't it? She looked at Shui. The young best actor chuckled softly and murmured, Xiangyi retracted her hand that was about to remove the cat ears. Since her boyfriend likes to see it, I'll let him see it. Xiangyi's transmigration missions were all very rushed and she rarely paid attention to other people's relationships. Her experience in this area was almost blank. However, just because it was blank didn't mean it was completely blank. She had once witnessed the love story between a support character and several of her husbands in a female-dominated world. She doted on her husband very much. Subconsciously, Xiangyi felt that her man had to be pampered and doted on. The girl put on the cat ears and her milky white face was expressionless. Her temperament was as calm as ever, but she was simply adorable. She tilted her head and asked, "What does it mean to act cute?" This action alone was enough to make the live stream explode. "Ah, why are you so cute? Our baby doesn't need to act cute. She doesn't need to. She's naturally cute." Oh my God, her face, her voice, and her cat ears. "I'm a girl, but I'm also lusting after Sister Yi's body." Ruan Qing smiled faintly and said, "You can do whatever you want." Li Jinyu deliberately mischievously and pretended to be very serious. "You're not cute at all right now." Xiangyi frowned in distress. "Can't I cook or slaughter pigs?" Why did he give me such a difficult question? It was simply out of his league. "Then, I'll teach you the essence of WoW." The girl was very serious. She took out the secret manual that her third brother had taught her. First you have to make 2 sounds. Remember to drag it out. Then you have to change your tone. You have to make it sound like a wave. The young girl's voice was gentle and soft. She was very patient. After explaining in detail, she asked, "Did I make it clear? Do you want me to repeat it?" Subconsciously, she moved closer to the camera. On the netizen screens, her fair and flawless face was magnified. Netizens. *CK. Who could withstand this? Ah, I'm dead. I'm gone. Sister E must have grown up eating Cody. Oh my God, I'm going to faint. Little Vase, oh no, I announce that from today onwards, Sister E is my favorite little baby. At this moment, countless fans kowtowed to the beauty of the world until they were satisfied. Countless haters immediately put down their keyboards and turned from haters to fans. At this moment, everyone's attention was on the dazzling girl. However, there were also fans of the untimely couple who were paying close attention to Sher Sui's movements. Everyone watched as the handsome man picked up the glass of water and took a few sips. His clean and clear Adam's apple was particularly obvious as it bobbed up and down as he drank. There was a hint of abstinence in his abstinence. The girls under the microscope all came online. Cold water. He's drinking cold water, sisters. Chapter 517. Hey, can Shurindi do it? He's only wearing cat ears and he's already drinking cold water. Should he take a cold shower next time? He can't. Next question. Ha ha ha, it's okay. He can't, but Sister E can. Friendly reminder, your account will be banned if you drive too fast. Your reminder is too late. My sister's account has already been taken down. She's now speaking beautiful Chinese. Xiangyi seriously taught everyone the secret of WoW. She raised her delicate chin proudly and gestured to Li Jinyu. You can speak now. Li Jinyu cleared his throat. No, it's not up to standard. I don't think it's cute enough. In the next second, Xiangyi raised her eyebrows. Say that again? The girl's invisible and powerful aura spread out, and even her soft and cute outfit couldn't offset it. Li Jinyu immediately gave in. Okay, Shaoli, I'll announce the mission card for you now. All of a sudden, the live stream was filled with people laughing and criticizing Li Jinyu for his lack of integrity. Online, the fake reviewers hired by Hao Han's team were still tirelessly stirring up trouble. Is it working? Hao Han hadn't started his live stream yet, but he kept refreshing Yan Kaikai's live stream, envious of his skyrocketing stats. The netizens these days have learned to be smart. It's not that easy to stir up conflicts. They're just a bunch of fools. Won't they believe you if you just lead them on? Hao Han snorted. There are some preliminary results. Some of Yan Kaikai's fans have gone to the live stream of Two Under One Roof to scold Xiangyi. But, what are you stuttering for? Hurry up and spit it out. The staff felt extremely aggrieved. Xiangyi's fans are too forgiving. Not only did they not take the bait, they even reported many accounts. The fake reviewers are even asking us to compensate them. Fake reviewers were now very mature. In addition to machine accounts, there were also artificial accounts. The operation of these accounts required money. For example, they could set up a group chat and assign tasks. The higher the level of the account, the longer it lasted, and the more posts it made, the more expensive it would be. The fake reviewers were also unable to voice their grievances. They had never seen such fans before. Let's not talk about veteran actors, but aren't the fans of popular celebrities nowadays all brainless? A single sentence could ignite a group of firecrackers. But the Spicy Tutu was simply amazing. They were either spamming, I won't be angry if others are angry, but no one will take my place if I'm angry. They were spamming pictures or short videos of Xiangyi's food. Many of the paid posters in their group chat stopped accepting orders and sent messages saying that they were either eating or ordering takeout. If this wasn't poison, then what was? Vast Han's team was speechless when they found out about this. They were about to persuade Vast Han to stop when his eyes lit up. Hey, why did Yen Kai Kai suddenly go offline? Haha, did something happen to him? Good. It's best if you never start a live broadcast. The staff members looked at each other in silence. They were used to Hao Han's lack of manners. Suddenly, someone raised his phone weakly. I think I know what Yen Kai Kai is doing. The manner? Li Jianyu announced. Thank you for the invitation from Nanqing Satellite TV. Today, Sister E, your task is to sell goods live. When Yen Kai Kai comes over for a meeting later, we'll help Nanqing's agricultural products together. At that time, the host of Nanqing Satellite TV will be on the mic with us. Vast Han and his team were speechless. We were still criticizing you guys for not getting along. Why are you guys working together? Don't we have face? Chapter 518. The live stream was in an uproar. Sister E was actually going to do a live stream with Yen Kai Kai, and it was even a collaboration with Nanqing TV? This was simply too amazing. Hao Han and his team were dumbfounded. Xiangyi and Yen Kai Kai actually got the resources that many celebrities and streamers yearned for but couldn't get? Yen Kai Kai must have spent money to pull some strings. Otherwise, why would they choose him and not me? Hao Han cursed. F***CK. Are the people of Nanqing TV blind? The staff member was rendered speechless. This was probably what they called incompetent rage. Yen Kai Kai was from Nanqing, which was also an important reason why Nanqing TV chose him to do the live stream. Originally, this resource was directly given to Xiangyi. The TV station saw that Xiangyi and Yen Kai Kai's live stream today and decided on this spot at the last minute. It was time for Yen Kai Kai to end his live stream. Once the two sides contacted each other, they happily agreed to come over and help with the live stream. Yen Kai Kai and the others arrived at the manor. Shi Sui, Tianji, and Ling Yi were doing a mission, and Xiangyi came to the door to welcome them. Yen Kai Kai got out of the car first. He was thinner in real life than in the live stream, and his skin was slightly darker. Hello, Sister E. Yen Kai Kai greeted her warmly and didn't forget to go around to the other side to open the car door for Guan Guan. Guan Guan's face was pale, and she didn't look as energetic as when she started the live stream just now. She forced a smile at Xiangyi. Hello, Sister E, I'm Spicy Tutu. Hello. Xiangyi looked at Guan Guan. Can I take your pulse? Guan Guan was stunned. Of course. Xiangyi raised her hand and reached for Guan Guan's wrist, accurately feeling her pulse. A moment later, Xiangyi retracted her hand. I'm a little weak. Maybe I'm overtired. But don't worry, it's nothing serious. Come in and rest for a while. Yen Kai Kai frowned. Why didn't you say that you weren't feeling well? Oh. He paused in embarrassment. Guan Guan smiled and asked, What will happen? Will you be worried about me? Yen Kai Kai changed the subject. Have a good rest later. When the audience saw this scene, they tacitly smiled in front of their screens. In the living room. While Yen Kai Kai was busy confirming the equipment for the live broadcast with the program team, Guan Guan was arranged by Xiangyi to sit on the couch by the floor-to-ceiling window. Hot water, a pillow, and a small blanket were all arranged. Xiangyi also brought an incense burner and lit a stick of incense. This incense has a sleeping effect. Why don't you take a nap? Xiangyi suggested. Guan Guan was used to working at a fast pace. Even though her menstrual cramps were severe, she subconsciously felt that resting was a sin. I'm still in the middle of a live stream. How can I lie here? People need to rest when they're tired. Xiangyi tucked in the blanket for her. I don't think the audience would like to watch the live broadcast where you work when you're sick and force yourself. And in life, who doesn't get tired? Viewers in the live stream. Sister E is so gentle cack. Come and listen to what Xiangyi has to say. Oh my god, I suddenly understand why Two Under One Roof is so popular. It's because it's realistic enough but not cruel enough. With just a few words, Guan Guan's anxious mood calmed down. The fragrance of incense filled the air, like the smell of fir trees on a snowy day, mixed with a faint smell of Chinese medicine. Guan Guan fell asleep unknowingly. When she woke up, there was a thermos flask in front of her. She unscrewed it to find a cup of brown sugar ginger tea inside. She suddenly felt a lump in her throat. Chapter 519. The livestream industry was very popular, but being a streamer wasn't easy. It was the norm in the industry to treat women like men and men like beasts. In contrast to the high-intensity work, there was an invisible pressure on one's mind. It couldn't be stopped. Guan Guan understood that Xiangyi must have known that she was feeling unwell from the moment she took her pulse. That was why she told her to rest. However, she didn't take credit for it and instead just showed her concern. She maintained a sense of propriety and distance. After being exhausted for so long, she really couldn't resist being treated gently all of a sudden. Guan Guan sniffed and drank a mouthful of the steaming brown sugar ginger tea. She felt her body and heart warm up along with it. When she first entered, she claimed to be spicy tutu out of politeness. But now, Guan Guan had truly become a fan of Xiangyi from the bottom of her heart. She was extremely loyal. Hao Han was displeased with the resources that Yan Kai Kai had received, so he quickly spent money to get his team to buy another round of marketing. This time he skipped over the fake reviewers and went straight to the marketing accounts. Online celebrity skinning accounts was one of them. Xiangyi and Yan Kai Kai's live stream had yet to officially begin, but articles criticizing the two of them were already flying all over the internet. Our Kai Kai is the best in marketing. Xiangyi is nothing. Don't drag our Kai Kai down. Sister E is so outstanding, why is she doing a live stream with Yan Kai Kai? She's so lowly, she's dragging down Sister Yi's status. No way, right? Is there anyone who doesn't know that the data in Yan Kai Kai's live stream is fake? Their live stream today is definitely going to fail. What's there to sell about agricultural products? Why don't you watch Hao Han's live stream tonight? Today is e-commerce foodie day. There's a lot of delicious food in his live stream. Compared to Yan Kai Kai, Hao Han was very willing to spend money on marketing, and his live stream immediately became popular. In addition, he had posted a preview of tonight's live stream, and many popular snacks were included. For example, sugarless milk tea, spicy crayfish, strawberry biscuits, and so on. Many netizens left comments under the preview, saying that they would definitely lock down Hao Han's live stream tonight. In addition, some netizens were influenced by the marketing accounts, and the comments below were all criticizing Xiangyi and Yan Kai Kai's live stream. It was fine to sell other things, but agricultural products? There was no way to sell things like rice, millet, green beans, and sesame seeds. The hour hand pointed to 6:59. The live stream of Two Under One Roof remained open, and so did Yan Kai Kai. 7 o'clock sharp. Yan Kai Kai shouted at the top of his voice, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kai Kai. The live stream is about to start. Quickly share the link to the live stream on Weibo and WeChat Moments. Beside me is our Sister E, Xiangyi. Sister E, come and say hello to everyone." Xiangyi sat upright and still. She was not nervous at all. She calmly waved at the camera. "Hello everyone, I'm Xiangyi. It's been a long day. Have you had dinner yet?" There were so many comments in the live stream that it was dizzying. "Did you hear that? My wife cares about me. Wifey, I ate it already, kiss 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 kiss. I'm coming, I've already chopped off my left hand yesterday and I'm preparing to chop off my right hand, dog head. Oh wow, these two together actually look like a couple? Guan Guan, I heard someone is courting death? Sure sway, this woman is mine, got it?" At the same time, Hao Han's live stream had also started. He thought that since he had spent so much money, there should be some effect, right? Hence, he secretly gestured to the staff to show him the data. Chapter 520. The staff member hesitated, not knowing if he should show it to him. Hao Han was an impatient person and urged him again. The staff member had no choice but to show him the data. On the 3 tablets were the data of the 3 live stream rooms. The comparison of the number of viewers online was extremely stark. Hao Han's live stream, 3492051. Yan Kai Kai's live stream, 5847329. Two Under One Roof's live stream, 8542245. Hao Han was speechless. Did Yan Kai Kai buy the data? He must have, right? Otherwise, how can the data be twice as fast as mine? What's wrong with the netizens? Didn't we agree to watch my live stream? Why are all of them watching Yan Kai Kai and Two Under One Roof? Thinking about how he had spent so much money but didn't even get a response, Hao Han was so angry that he shut himself up on the spot. Xiangyi and Yan Kai Kai didn't know about Hao Han's little tricks. The two of them cooperated and began to show the products that they would be carrying today. Dear viewers, the first treasure we recommend tonight is Nanqing's Red Heart Sweet Potato. This is a new variety cultivated by the Nanqing Academy of Agricultural Sciences. Not only is it delicious, but it's also healthy. We fought for a very discounted price. The original price was 9 yuan per caddy, but today in our live stream, 5 caddies are 39. 9 yuan per caddy. We're also giving away 2 caddies of White Heart Sweet Potato, which has a softer texture. The unit price is equivalent to 1 caddy. Usually, Guan Guan would act as an assistant and calculate the price for Yan Kai Kai in advance. Today they had changed partners at the last minute and the two of them didn't have time to get along. Yan Kai Kai's heart was in his mouth and sweat appeared on his forehead. His mind was racing as he tried to think of a way to smooth things over. However, he heard a gentle voice in his ear. 7 yuan. Yan Kai Kai was stunned for a second before he quickly said, "Wow. This price is really affordable. Let's do it. Right, Guan, ahem, sistery." Although Yan Kai Kai was a mature livestream host, habits were really powerful. Despite his rich experience, he still couldn't help but blabber. Xiangyi said calmly, "Yes, sweet potatoes can be steamed or cooked with porridge. It's also a good choice to make carrot sweet potatoes or stir-fried sweet potato puree. If you can afford it, you can also add some raisins, nuts, or something." Yan Kai Kai. What kind of godly partner was this? He was almost moved to tears. Sistery was so reliable. Inexplicably, Yan Kai Kai was affected. He calmed down and acted like a professional streamer. Regarding the red heart sweet potato, it's actually related to our Nanqing's poverty alleviation. Let's connect to Nanqing TV, beep. The live broadcast room and Nanqing satellite TV were connected successfully. The host smiled and said, "Xiangyi Yan Kai Kai, hello. Today's cooperation is the first time for our Nanqing satellite TV. This time, we invited 2 spokespersons to help with the online sales of our agricultural products. First, let's listen to the story behind poverty. Nanqing satellite TV has changed the style of traditional media. Each agricultural product is accompanied by a short video of tens of seconds. It is not the kind of agony style, but the production is vivid and interesting. Watching the belly. The live stream continued in an orderly manner. Next, we recommend Xiaomi. Millet is good for the stomach when used to make porridge. It can be cooked together with pumpkin. This product is amazing. It's black sesame. Black sesame is fried and sealed. Eat a small handful every day. It has a certain hair care effect. Coupled with the funny short video of Nanqing satellite TV, the netizens in the live broadcast room watched with relish and couldn't stop buying. Some netizens couldn't help but exclaim, "This is simply like announcing the name of a dish. Sister E is announcing the recipe." Chapter 521. In the living room. Xiangyi and Yan Kai Kai were doing a live stream. Guan Guan stood at the side and watched as the staff uploaded links and gave out coupons. In the kitchen, the 3 men were preparing dinner. Tianji showed off his skills by making some duck soup. Shi Sui prepared a few cold dishes in an unhurried manner. Ling Yi helped her by choosing vegetables and cutting them into chunks. Through the half-closed door, he could hear the conversation between Xiangyi and Yan Kai Kai in the living room. Although it was just a simple collaboration, he actually felt a little envious of Yan Kai Kai. Even if he knew that she didn't belong to him, his possessiveness was still strong and impulsive. On the other hand, Shi Sui was unruffled as he mixed the candied tomatoes, appearing elegant, noble, and indifferent. Ling Yi couldn't help but curse in his heart. Does he really like Xiangyi? How can he be so indifferent to her? Doesn't he have any possessiveness and desire to control Xiangyi? As if sensing Ling Ye's gaze, the young best actor turned his face and asked with a deep gaze, "Are the vegetables ready?" Ling Yi said, "Yes, I've watered them." Shi Sui nodded and said, "Thank you." Ling Yi handed the vegetables over and saw that Shi Sui was leisurely preparing to boil the vegetables. He couldn't help but ask, "Mr. Shi, my sister is doing a live stream with another man." "So?" Ling Yi choked and said, "Nothing, I just feel that you don't seem to care much about my sister." Shi Sui slowly put on an apron and asked, "What do you think is caring?" Ling Yi lowered his thick and long eyelashes, and his beautiful and delicate face was gentle. "I don't know." In fact, he already had an answer in his heart. It was possessiveness. Everyone's understanding may be different, but at the very least, caring shouldn't be a hindrance to the other party. It's not restricting the other party from making friends or restricting the other party's freedom. Shi Sui's words stunned Ling Yi. It also won the strong approval of the fans in the live stream. "I'm praising Shi Sui. He's so righteous." Yes. No matter how much you like someone, no one has the right to deprive others of their freedom. Actually, I'm quite annoyed with the memes about being locked in a basement. Liking someone should be based on respect. The Xiang family old estate. Xiang Yin, who had learned how to shop online, had a sullen expression on his face as he used his acupuncture needles to buy everything that his granddaughter bought. Meanwhile, Madame Xiang sent a voice message to the Sunset Glow Sisters group. "Ayaya, that's right. The person streaming with Kai Kai is our little granddaughter. Sisters, please support her. No, I'm not as outstanding as you say. I'm just average. My old man is shopping. Self-taught? He's not that smart. It was our precious little rabbit who taught him how to shop online. Xiang Yin blushed and coughed. Okay, cut it out. Madame Xiang snickered. Old man, are you shy? No. Xiang Yin retorted righteously. Do I seem like the kind of person who would be shy? Madame Xiang saw through him but didn't expose him. Instead, she continued to send voice messages to the group. Well, the group owner, Mrs. Zhou, loves to show off her grandson. My little rabbit is the most outstanding one. The 1-hour live stream ended. The sales figures were tabulated immediately. Yan Kai was not the only one who was looking forward to it. Even Hao Han was waiting for the results. When Guan saw the data, she smiled and ignored Yan Kai. Instead, she looked at Xiaomi. Sister E, congratulations, your live stream sales have exceeded 100 million yuan. And it's 200 million yuan. Chapter 522. This data was quickly spread. Damn, 200 million yuan? The point is, the two of them only live streamed for an hour. This figure has broken an industry record. I reckon that capital is about to enter the market and celebrities may become the norm. On the internet, countless people expressed their opinions. What did you say? 200 million yuan? When Hao Han went offline, he heard the figures that his assistant told him. His face was full of disbelief. Where are my figures? There was still a last glimmer of hope in his heart. Perhaps the figures of his live stream had exploded because of the good traffic today. The assistant trembled in fear. 20 million yuan. Not only was the sales figures far from Xiangyi and Yan Kai's figures, but they were also not as high as usual. There was no other reason than the fact that the market for live stream goods was only so large at the moment. Now that Yan Kai's live stream had more viewers, Hao Han's live stream would definitely be affected. The nearly tenfold difference made Hao Han so angry that he smashed a lot of things on the spot. At the thought of the upcoming live-streamed mid-year celebration, he was bound to meet Yan Kai when the time came. When that time came, how was he supposed to raise his head in front of Yan Kai? In the living room of the manor. Yan Kai was in a great mood when he heard the figures. His usual sales were about tens of millions of yuan a day, and the highest he had ever achieved was a little more than 100 million yuan. He didn't expect that his temporary collaboration with Xiangyi today would result in more than 200 million yuan. Sister E, here's a toast to you. Here's to you. Yan Kai raised his glass and downed it in one gulp. Xiangyi's eyes lit up as she looked at the fruit wine in the porcelain cup in front of her. She subconsciously licked the corners of her mouth. Sensing a burning gaze, she looked up and made eye contact with Sher Sui. He smiled ambiguously as if he had seen through her thoughts at a glance. His tutu was an alcoholic. Xiangyi felt a little guilty. Just as she was about to pretend that nothing had happened and continue drinking, a pair of bony hands picked up the wine glass before her. Sister E is injured and can't drink. She appreciates the gesture, but I'll drink. His low and deep voice slowly resounded in everyone's ears. His elegant and gentlemanly demeanor made it impossible for anyone to find fault with him. The man raised his neck and his Adam's apple bobbed as he drank. His thin lips were stained with water, and he slowly wiped it away with his slender and fair fingers. So sexy. Xiangyi stared straight at him, her little hands clenching into fists uncontrollably. The live stream was filled with cheers. Shuringdi blocked the wine for Sister E. What we got was candy. I'm going to faint. Shersui's Adam's apple is so cute. I want Sister E to touch me. Sister Yi's heart aches as she looks at Sher Sui. It's like he's looking at a treasure. I'm the only one who feels like Xiangyi wants to drink? After 3 rounds of wine? Men tend to talk a lot more nonsense when they drink too much. Yan Kai didn't dare to look Guan in the eye, but he didn't have such scruples when it came to Xiangyi. The two chatted about the livestream. Spicy Tutu's fans thought it was quite normal, but in the eyes of Yan Kai's fans, they were a little displeased. In their opinion, Yan Kai was neglecting Guan. I'm speechless. Is Yan Kai worthy of Guan's efforts? Xiangyi is crazy. She's going to speak to Yan Kai just because he's talking to her? Her EQ is so low. I feel sorry for Guan. It's been so long and she still hasn't become a full-time employee. She still has to watch the person she likes talk to another girl in public. How sad must she be? Chapter 523. The most direct result of overthinking was that some people couldn't control their emotions and started flaming her. Is Vase Fairy so sick that she'll die if she doesn't have a man? Does she have to stick to every man she meets? Xiangyi is such a green TB*TC. All she knows is how to put on an act. She doesn't know how to be reserved in front of men. She was nice to Ling Yi just now, and now she's chatting passionately with Yan Kai Kai. She even got Shui to drink with her. What a good move. While the netizens were scolding her fiercely, Guan Guan suddenly said, "Excuse me, I'm going out for a while." As soon as she left, the live stream went into an uproar. Heartbroken Guan Guan was flooded with comments. Apart from that, there were also comments scolding Xiangyi and Yan Kai Kai. It was as if the two of them had done something heinous. However, within a few minutes, Guan Guan returned. She walked into the living room with a huge cardboard box in her arms. When Xiangyi saw it, her first reaction was to get up to help her carry it. Yan Kai Kai was a step slower to react. "How can you girls do this kind of work? Let me do it." "You can't?" Guan Guan said in disdain. Yan Kai Kai blushed. "You. Watch your words. We're doing a live stream." Guan Guan was confused. She began to reflect on herself. What do I see in this simple-minded man? Xiangyi avoided her injured hand and lifted the big box with one hand. "It's a little heavy," she commented. Guan Guan's gaze instantly changed, and there was a look of admiration in her eyes. "Sister E, you're so awesome. Wow, you can even lift such a heavy box with one hand." Yan Kai Kai was speechless. He had helped her carry things before, so why didn't Guan Guan flatter him? "Let me do it. I'm a man, I can't let you girls do this kind of work." Yan Kai Kai snatched the box from Xiangyi's hands. As soon as he grabbed it, he staggered due to the weight. Yan Kai Kai was speechless. Is this box filled with stones? How can Xiangyi, who looks so gentle, lift it with one hand effortlessly? When the livestream viewers saw this scene, they were instantly amused. "Haha, Yan Kai Kai is so chauvinistic, but it's not the disgusting kind. I'm about to throw up from laughing. Yan Kai Kai, you probably don't know anything about Sister Yi's strength. She is a cute girl who can carry a pig without batting an eyelid." In order to defend his male dignity, Yan Kai Kai insisted on moving the box to the dining table even though his face was red. Tianji looked at them and said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Ling Yi was next to him, his head lowered as he played with a game console that Xiangyu had left behind. He looked obedient and docile, but in the game he was sharp and ruthless. Every move he made was fatal. Guan Guan opened the box and took out the things inside one by one. "Sister E, this sunscreen hat is super useful. Sister E, do you like spicy food? This shop's spicy strips are delicious. Sister E, this detergent is not only effective, but it also smells good. You must have it." The more they listened, the more they felt that something was amiss. Why did it feel like this big box of things, without exception, was all for Xiangyi? Li Jinyu asked the question that was on everyone's mind. "Guan Guan, are these all for Sister E?" Guan Guan smiled and said, Yes, yes. I really like Sister E, so I must give her all the good things that I think are good." The netizens who were scolding them just now were speechless. What kind of F***king plot is this? Chapter 524. Xiangyi paused for a moment and said, "Wait a minute, I'll go get something for you." Not long after, Xiangyi brought over a bunch of food and drinks. For example, Little Rabbit Farm's new mixed noodles, as well as their signature products, spicy rabbit head, spicy beef, as well as her own pickled vegetables, salted duck eggs, fermented grape wine, plum wine, and so on. It was packed to the brim. After filling up Guan Guan's box, there was still a lot left. Guan Guan was shocked. "Are these all for me? Sob Xiangyi, you're the best. I must be the happiest fan in the world." The girl said calmly, "This is a gift in return." However, Shui noticed that she was poking at the hem of her clothes with her fingertips, looking lively and happy. Obviously, Little Rabbit was very happy to receive a gift. There was also a smile in his eyes. For no reason, he just couldn't help but smile when he saw her smile. Meanwhile, Yan Kai Kai stood at the side with a look of confusion on his face. He suddenly felt that he was quite redundant. In the live stream, the spicy tutu fans' counterattack would come later. Ha ha, some fans are so dramatic. It's a waste of talent if they don't go into acting. Are you sure Guan Guan is the one being ignored and not Yan Kai Kai? He's like a tool. The friendship between girls is so cute and spicy. It's cured. At this moment, many of Yan Kai Kai's fans who were flaming him were blushing in front of their screens. Yan Kai Kai had only come to work with Xiangyi to deliver goods. Now that the task was completed, he still had work to do. After dinner, he got ready to leave. Before leaving, Guan Guan held Xiangyi's hand and reluctantly talked to her for a while. The two girls exchanged contact information and even exchanged addresses so that it would be easier to send things to each other in the future. Yan Kai Kai could only awkwardly chat with Shui. Shui, When will we be able to see your new movie? Shui smiled and said, "It depends on fate." Hearing this, many of his fans were a little disappointed. Shui had already won the Best Actor award at such a young age. His career had already reached its peak. Even if he announced his retirement now, he would still be worshipped in the future. But they still wanted to see Shui's life with more honor. Hearing this, Guan asked Xiangyi curiously, "Sister Yi, do you know how to film?" Yan Kai continued, "Hey, I think you two can work together." The two of them were just chatting casually, but they accidentally stirred up 1,000 ripples. The joke of the year? "Please, pretty sister, I'm willing to pay for a magazine shoot or a live stream as long as you don't ruin my eyes on the big screen. I've endured it for so many days, but I can't take it anymore today. I don't mind if they're a couple, but Shui's works are not to be sullied. He's such a good actor, he shouldn't waste it on a woman like Xiangyi who only knows how to glare and pout." Yan Kai still wanted to say something, but Guan realized that she had said something wrong and secretly pinched Yan Kai's arm. She tried to salvage the situation by saying, "Hey, we're just joking. Your daily life is as beautiful as a movie. When I get rich, I'm going to go home and farm too." Xiangyi didn't think too much about it, but Shui raised his eyebrows. "Work together?" He looked at Xiangyi with a gentle gaze that was like a sparkling lake under the sunlight. "Of course I'm willing, but I don't know if Sister Yi is willing to work with me." Chapter 525. The netizens were speechless. Is Shuiyi so lovey-dovey? Doesn't he know how good Xiangyi's acting skills are? His words aroused the dissatisfaction of some of his fans. "Shuiyi, are you crazy? Do you have to put a woman on such high pedestals? She's not qualified to act with you. I've been with you from the lowest point to the peak and worried about your career. If you ruin your own future, I won't be your fan anymore." Smile? "As an actor, I hope you can cherish your reputation. Even if you don't have any career aspirations and continue to pursue art, I hope you won't leave a stain on your career." Of course, some people reacted fiercely while others were looking forward to it. Xiangyi now had a wide range of fans, including fans of her looks, foodies, older sister fans, mother fans, and milk powder fans. Especially the older fans who hadn't seen Xiangyi in the previous idol drama, felt that this young lady was adorable and lovable. She would definitely be suitable for acting in a movie. Thinking of Shui's delay in accepting the movie, Xiangyi blinked and said, "If you need, I can cooperate." After all, she had been evaluated as a perfect support by the transmigration system. Xiangyi felt that she knew a little about acting. Shui raised his eyebrows. "Why don't you give it a try?" Xiangyi didn't hesitate. "Sure." In the night, the man's thin lips curled up, and even the dim scenery seemed to come alive in an instant. "Happy working with you, Sister Yi." The netizens were speechless. What's going on? Are the two of them really going to work together? Some of the fans immediately expressed their attitude in the pop-up comments. "I'm no longer a fan, goodbye." Shui, you don't care about the feelings of your fans at all. "I'm in tears now. I feel like all my years of liking him have been wasted. I care more about his career than he does, but what about him?" However, the emotional comments were quickly replaced by a wave of pop-up comments. "Oh my god, Sister E is so capable. She's been praised by the officials." Everyone curiously went to Weibo to search, only to find that there was a trending topic. #Xiangyi Yan Kai young man #. When he suddenly saw it, he thought that it was a hot search. However, when they clicked on it, they realized that it was actually a Weibo post from the Wuxia Daily. Huagua Daily v. Today, Nanjing Satellite TV is trying new media to help the poor by carrying goods for agricultural products through live broadcasts, and the sales are gratifying. Thank you to #Xiangyi Yan Kai use hashtag. Not only did you solve the urgent needs of the farmers, but you also explored a new model of positive energy live streaming. I give a thumbs up to them for their excellence. Many class representatives with verified accounts went online to analyze the deeper meaning behind this Weibo post. Oh my god, Xiangyi and Yan Kai are amazing. Looks like Yan Kai's seat as the #1 streamer is secure. This is equivalent to an official signal that recognizes the legitimacy of the streamer's profession and the positive significance of live streaming. Ordinary passers-by didn't know much about it, but when they saw this trending topic, they felt that these two young people were indeed not bad. The fans were extremely excited. She felt as if her own child had received the biggest red flower in kindergarten. What are you waiting for? Just praise them and it'll be over. Hence, a large number of bootlicking experts went online and singled out Xiangyi and Yan Kai for praise. When they praised them together, it could be said that there were no blind spots. At the same time, Another trending topic broke into everyone's attention with astonishing popularity. Chapter 526. Hashtag Who's the Pretty Sister in the Nation? Hashtag the person who posted the post on Weibo was a well-known humorous blogger. Apart from accepting submissions from netizens, she also had fun with her family. In particular, the short videos of her arguing with her younger brother would definitely make it to the hot search list every time they were updated. How to conquer the handsome young man v. I didn't expect my iron-willed brother to fall in love one day. He's just a poor high school student who just came home from school. I was slumped on the sofa eating strawberries while watching a variety show. My brother was so angry that he let out a furious roar. In the end, when he saw Xiangyi on TV, he immediately became shy and nervous. He clenched his fists and lowered his head while asking me, "Who is this pretty sister?" In order to know her name, my brother has already obediently washed my car for me. There was a lot of laughter in the comments section. Men are just SOSO. Shocking. My brother is actually shy? Is this still the same brother who tugged at your hair for a bowl of instant noodles? Xiangyi is really a pretty sister. Even I want to lick my screen crazily, let alone my brother. Nowadays, the live streaming industry in China was very developed and most young people didn't watch much television. Hence, although the hot search list was very popular, it had been stuck at around 10th place. Until, at 9:30 p.m., National Mass Workout was broadcast on satellite TV. At the same time, the online version of this episode was released on Xinchen Video. Many fans who were watching the online version were the first to reach the battlefield. Junhan, let's go. Mommy is here. Wow, Su Tumi is in this episode. I like her so much. Spicy Tutu will never admit defeat. Our sister Yi's reputation is rising. At this moment, countless people were slumped on the sofa or bed, enjoying the rare leisure time of the day. After the familiar introduction ended, a delicate and fair face appeared in front of everyone's eyes. The young girl was holding a black recurved bow with a bow on her head. She was dressed in a bright and sweet manner, but there was a trace of coldness in her eyes. She squinted, aimed, and pulled the bow. Whoosh. The young girl didn't look at the results and instead lowered her head to take an arrow. The audience in front of the screen. There was an instant pop-up comment section. Damn it, what kind of pretty sister is this? My sister used her cuteness as a weapon and shot me in the heart with an 8x scope. Is this the legendary true expert who never looks at the score after shooting an arrow? Coach, I want to learn this. Some fans who were familiar with the routine of National Citizen felt that something was wrong. The first person to appear would be the main guest of this episode. Come on, in terms of celebrity status, popularity, and status, what qualifications did Xiangyi have to be the main guest? What a joke. Many people directly opened up the comments section, and for a moment, the bullet screen was filled with a foul atmosphere. However, this episode of the film was personally edited by director Zhu. He was one of the top variety directors in the industry, and his aesthetic sense had always been on the line. This time he even brought out his specialty. The rhythm of the editing was excellent, and there were endless laughs. The audience's attention was quickly diverted away from the main guest. The famous scenes of Xiangyi drawing the cartoon clip, Su Tumi hitting the wrong target, and Xiangyi hitting the 10th ring of the 10 rings were all hilarious. The number of fans on both their Weibo accounts was increasing rapidly. Some people were happy while others were sad. Wuxia looked at the variety show with disbelief in his eyes. They actually deleted all my scenes in this episode? Chapter 527. Recently, Wuxia had been embroiled in a whirlpool of public opinion and his reputation had been ruined. No one had approached him to act in a drama. National Citizen was his only exposure. He initially thought that director Zhu would more or less give him some face, even if it meant that he would have less screen time. At the very least, he could have his face censored. Maybe someone would be curious about who the censored person was and he might still have some popularity. However, he didn't expect director Zhu to be so ruthless. He edited it as if he didn't record this episode at all. Wuxia thumped his chest and stamped his feet in regret. He was infuriated and posted several Weibo posts in a row. Wuxia v. Only the person who drinks will know if it's hot or cold. Wuxia v. In this world there's only icing on the cake, there's no such thing as timely help. Wuxia v. Perhaps, I'm the true portrayal of the marginal character in literary works. Some netizens commented, yes, you're very redundant. Seeing this, Wuxia criticized the other party for online violence and even called on his fans to scold the netizen. This wave of confusing actions naturally attracted countless mockery from the public. Seeing that there were so many people scolding him, Wuxia decided to go all the way. Thinking that he was still popular after being criticized, he hoped to use this opportunity to stir up some waves. Hence, he posted on Weibo and claimed that he was going to expose something. By Wuxia V. Let me tell you guys, a certain female star is a lesbian. The two girls were hugging and hugging each other during the recording of the show. It's so disgusting. By Wuxia V. A certain male star also secretly supported a certain female star with 3 food trucks. Don't ask me who it is, everyone already knows. Aren't the two of them having an affair? As soon as these 2 Weibo posts were posted, By Wuxia's Weibo immediately became lively. Countless netizens who were watching the show seemed to be possessed by Sherlock Holmes and Detective Conan as they speculated, analyzed, deciphered, and dug into the Weibo posts of the production crew. In the end, they actually managed to decipher By Wuxia's news. Some of the netizens posted a conclusion. Revelation 1, the certain female star should be referring to Su Tumi. The 2 female stars who were hugging each other are Su Tumi and Xiangyi. I've cut a clip from the variety show where Xiangyi was teaching Su Tumi archery, and it was as if she was holding Su Tumi in her arms. Also, I found a staff member's Weibo. Someone posted something about the couple that day. Lala, I think By Wuxia is just making things up, but the 2 of them seem to be really close. Revelation 2, this should be referring to Xiangyi and Shui. Xiangyi had a total of 4 support food trucks that day, and one of them was organized by her fans. However, according to the screenshots circulating in the fan group, Xiangyi converted the money to her fans and told them not to spend money on her in the future. As for the other 3 cars, I found a post on the Melon forum. It was posted by the staff of the catering car that day. It said that the person who ordered the catering car was Shui's agent. By Wuxia waited for a long time, but there was no call. Could it be that no one was paying attention? He picked up his phone and saw that one of the 2 Weibo posts had more than a few thousand comments, and the other had more than 10,000 comments. By Wuxia was overjoyed. He thought that the popularity was waving at him, but when he clicked on the comments he was dumbfounded. I can be a sweet and soft couple. Shui actually gave Sister E a support food truck? Sob sob sob, this dog food is too fragrant. Apart from that, the most common comment was this one. Thank you for the news. Since you've already become famous, why don't you change your career to paparazzi? By Wuxia was speechless. Chapter 528. By Wuxia failed to expose the matter and was instead advised by netizens to become a paparazzi. Soon it was reposted by various humorous bloggers. All of a sudden the sentence, since you're going to fail anyway, why don't you change your profession and become a paparazzi? Became a new internet buzzword. In a sense, By Wuxia had achieved his goal. He had indeed gained some popularity. However, what followed was not directors looking for him to act in shows but various gossip magazines, paparazzi, and other media outlets throwing him an olive branch. The second round of the game segment of National Citizen was broadcasted. On the screen, Xiangyi was dressed in a clean and neat camouflage uniform with a belt around her slender waist. Her hair was tied into a bun and she was carrying a sniper rifle that was disproportionate to her body size. However, she was surprisingly sassy and beautiful. In particular, at the moment she fired the shot, the pop-up comments were filled with comments such as, I'm dead. Sister shot my heart, and I died repeatedly in front of the screen. However, when the crowd found out that she had killed her teammate Jun Han, they laughed so hard that they were about to cry. For this part, director Zhu used editing techniques similar to those used in war movies as the camera kept switching between each person. The post-production was also particularly impressive as it was accompanied by all kinds of exciting music. Many people were so engrossed in watching that they even forgot that it was just a variety show. All of a sudden, the scene turned into an intense push and pull that pulled the crowd back to reality. Someone complained, "Why are you shaking the camera? You're making me dizzy." At this moment, the screen turned black and the post-production subtitles appeared, which briefly described the accident that happened to Su Tumi on the day of filming. When the audience saw that Su Tumi was actually being chased by a wanted criminal, director Zhu did not cut the scene and instead played the sounds of Su Tumi crying and panting when she was running. The editing made everyone's hearts wrench up. How could this happen? Oh my god, I'm breaking out in cold sweat even through the screen. Although I know that Su Tumi is safe and sound, it's still so heart-wrenching to hear this scene. The panting sounds became more and more rapid, especially when she screamed. It was enough to make one imagine the terrifying scene at that time. A maniacal wanted criminal was chasing after a weak and helpless young girl, like a wild beast hunting in the forest. However, in the next second, whoosh, the screen lit up. Like a ray of light at the end of the darkness, the dim light became brighter and brighter, and finally fixed on the scene of Xiangyi running towards Su Tumi. The young girl was like a slender but vigorous wild leopard, directly pouncing over. Meanwhile, the background music played by Wuxia's sarcastic words at that time, but the voice was changed. Let's stand further away. If Xiangyi can't hold on, we'll be in big trouble. Hey, don't forget to run towards us. Aren't they afraid of dragging us down? His EQ is too low. The scene of a young girl fighting with all her might, coupled with the words she had said, brought about a strong impact. The bullet screen exploded. I'm King crying out loud. Sister E is so nice. The way he ran over without hesitation was really too tear-jerking. Don't think I don't know who you are just because you changed your voice. By Wuxia, you're a fool. It's completely mushy. Even the netizens who were initially critical of Xiangyi for not being worthy of being the main guest were teary-eyed. The entire bullet screen was lined up in a neat formation. She deserves to be the main guest. She deserves to be the main guest. She deserves to be the main guest. Chapter 529. At this point, no one doubted whether Xiangyi was worthy of being the main guest anymore. Because there was no doubt about it. Hashtag who's the pretty girl in Citizen? Hashtag trended all the way to second place. The first place was occupied by another term. Hashtag her name is Xiangyi. Hashtag the person who posted this was Xiangyi's fan club's official Weibo account. Protect my Mala Tutu V. She's not a vase fairy, she just has a pretty face. She's not pretentious, she just knows a little about everything. She's not an actress from the Xiang family, she has her own name. Hashtag her name is Xiangyi. Hashtag. The accompanying picture was a set of 9 squares, each of which was a picture of her beautiful face. There was a picture of Xiangyi washing her hands to make soup, a picture of her holding silver needles, a picture of her playing the sanxian, and a picture of her receiving a silk banner. The picture seemed casual, but it was actually intentional. It showed everyone that she was really an outstanding girl. On this day, countless people tore off the stereotypical label they had for Xiangyi. They finally got to know Xiangyi properly. Citizen broadcasted the third round of Bonus Time, which was the segment where the production team went to Xiangyi's manor to shoot. After experiencing such a thrilling scene and seeing such a peaceful scene, the audience spontaneously thought of 2 words in their hearts: bliss. It turned out that a plain life was also a kind of bliss. They were used to the bustling traffic and bright lights of the big city. When they saw this kind of life of picking chrysanthemums under the eastern fence, leisurely looking at the southern mountains, it really felt like they had entered a paradise of peach blossoms. The rhythm of the second half of the segment was slow and uneven, delicate but not dragging. This episode of National Citizen ended with one sentence. A game is just a game and friends are not just friends. When the audience saw this sentence, they smiled knowingly, as if they had vaguely understood something. They were smiling, but when they came back to their senses, they realized that their eyes were wet. After watching the variety show, many of the audience members did not continue to surf the internet as usual. Instead, they called their family or friends. Mom, I missed the chicken soup you made. Sister, we haven't seen each other in a long time, let's meet for dinner. Brother, how have you been recently? Haha, you're living such a comfortable life. Call me Daddy. On the Lime app, the ratings of National Citizen rose rapidly. This episode was regarded by countless people as a variety textbook, godly editing, and comparable to an indie film. It became a classic in the history of variety. Everything on the internet did not seem to affect the manor at all. After the live broadcast ended, everyone returned to their rooms to rest. As the night deepened, Xiangyi nestled in bed reading a book. Xiao Naofu was snoring on the pillow next to her. It was raining outside the window, accompanied by the dull sound of thunder. Xiangyi got up and went to the living room to get some water. She vaguely heard some rustling sounds coming from the utility room. Thief? The girl frowned slightly. She picked up the peachwood sword she used for morning practice and kicked open the door to the storeroom. It was pitch black. She met Ling Ye's eyes. The young man's complexion was pale, as if he had fallen into extreme fear. He huddled in the cramped space as if this was the only way he could feel safe. Xiangyi looked at him for a few seconds and walked away. Ling Yi wanted to grab the corner of her shirt, but he did not manage to reach it. A bitter smile appeared on his lips. Perhaps this was retribution. Sister must have thought that he was acting. His body was getting colder and colder. Ling Yi coughed softly. Suddenly, a light appeared in his field of vision. It was not bright enough, but it was very warm. It was an orange night light. Chapter 530. The stars outside the window were sparse and the room was silent. A ray of light suddenly appeared in the boundless darkness. Ling Yi stared at the lamp in shock and suddenly felt a lump in his throat. Immediately afterwards, a warm and soft little Shiji was stuffed into his arms. The little Shiba Inu was still in a daze. It opened its moist eyes and tilted its head in bewilderment. Little Shiji is very obedient. Can it accompany you? The girl's voice was gentle and sweet, just like the sound of nature in the middle of the night. I read a paper previously that said that pets can effectively relieve anxiety and tension. Ling Ye's Adam's apple moved and he had a hard time suppressing his coughs. His voice was hoarse as he said, "Thank you, you're welcome." Xiangyi looked at him calmly without any discrimination. Instead she asked, "Do you need me to close the door?" She didn't ask him to be normal, be strong or get better. However, for the first time, Ling Yi felt that he was respected. He heard himself murmuring in a broken voice, "Sister, can you not leave?" Before Xiangyi could answer, the beautiful and exquisite young man said self-deprecatingly, "How am I worthy?" He curled his fingers and said, "I'm sorry, sister." Xiang Yi's eyelashes fluttered, and she pointed in the direction of the bookshelf. "I'll leave a gap for you and then I'll read outside. If you're afraid you can knock on the door twice. If I hear you, I'll knock on the bookshelf twice, okay?" Ling Yi looked at her in disbelief. He didn't even know if he had nodded or not. By the time he recovered from the shock, darkness had enveloped his vision again. The difference was that there was a chubby Shiba Inu in his arms that was rubbing against his chest and exposing its belly for him to stroke. Beside him was a small night light. It was dim and weak, but it resisted the boundless darkness and stubbornly crushed the glimmer of light. Through the gap in the door, he could see that the light on the bookshelf seemed to be fatally attractive. For a moment, Ling Yi suddenly understood why moths were destined to fly to the fire. The dazzling light was where one's heart was. He tried to test it by gently knocking on the door twice, but he quickly retracted his hand. He was afraid that she wouldn't hear him, but he was also afraid that she would. He was conflicted and tangled. A few seconds later, the steady and calm sound of knuckles hitting the solid wood bookshelf came from outside the door. All the chaos and pain seemed to have been paused at this moment. Ling Ye's heart raced as he clenched his fists. The system sensed his abnormality and remained silent. Temporary salvation was still salvation. At least at this moment the host was happy. Xiangyi was so engrossed in flipping through the book that she didn't notice a shadow beside her. Until the shadow could no longer hold back and tugged at the corner of her clothes. "Elder sister." Xiangyi looked in the direction of the voice and discovered that Ling Yi had unknowingly sat cross-legged on the floor. His beautiful face was looking up at her without blinking. "What's the matter?" Xiangyi frowned. "The floor is cold. Get up. My sister cares about me." This realization made Ling Yi both excited and pained. "Sister, can I always stay by your side?" "Sister, I will be very obedient." "Sister." The last word was said in a nasal tone. It sounded like he was acting coquettishly, but more like he was pleading. Xiangyi said indifferently, "Ling Yi, don't lose yourself. You should go home." Hearing this, Ling Yi suddenly smiled bitterly. He said, "Sister, not everyone wants to go home." Chapter 531. Xiangyi was slightly taken aback. Ling Yi looked up at her and said in a hoarse voice, "Sister, do you know that no one will wait for me to come home?" "No one?" Suddenly he could smell the fruity scent of citrus. Xiangyi squatted down in front of him. "It's okay. After you complete all the missions you can choose a world to stay in." "Can I choose sister's world?" As soon as the young man finished speaking, his expression suddenly changed. His face turned pale as if he had lost all his vitality in an instant. Ling Ye's lips were moving and his eyes were dilated. He seemed to be talking to the system in his mind. Xiangyi could vaguely hear a few words. "Impossible? You betrayed me? Even you betrayed me? If it's not you, who else could it be?" Boom! The young man fell to the ground. Xiangyi quickly went to check on him. "Sister," Ling Yi called out for the last time. He tried to grab Xiangyi's hand, but it fell to the ground before he could even touch the corner of her clothes. Late at night at the hospital, Xiangyi was sitting on a bench in the corridor. Her eyes were empty and she was in a daze. A man's jacket suddenly appeared on her thin and slender shoulders. It was stained with his scent. "Ling Yi is awake," Shui said. "Do you want to go and see him?" Xiangyi collected her thoughts and nodded. She walked to the door of the emergency room. Through the transparent glass, her gaze fell on the unconscious young man. However, she felt as if she was looking at another person. She suddenly stopped in her tracks. After a while, Xiangyi looked down. It's good that he's fine. However, there was no need to look at him anymore. This was because this Ling Yi was no longer Ling Yi. Where did he go? What happened? Was he still alive? Xiangyi sighed. She told herself not to think about it, but she still couldn't control herself. Her fingers were suddenly held. His slender fingers went through her hand and interlocked with hers. Sister Yi, I'm here. Okay, Xiangyi replied and rested her forehead on his shoulder. Boyfriend, lend me your shoulder. Shi Sui noticed the change in Song Yunxuan's mood. Seeing that Song Yunxian didn't want to say more, he didn't ask any more questions. He just patted Song Yunxuan's back gently with his other hand. A moment later, Xiangyi adjusted her mood. Boyfriend, let's go home. The word, go home, poked the soft corner of the man's heart. He looked gentle. Okay, listen to Sister Yi. Before he left, he glanced at Ling Yi who was in the emergency room. His long and narrow eyes suddenly narrowed. Was Sister Yi's body also swapped in the same way? That night, chaos ensued. First, Ling Yi suddenly fainted and was sent to the hospital. Tianjia was impatient and drove to the hospital in the middle of the night, but an accident happened. The next morning, the news that Tianji and his disciple were both hospitalized spread on the internet. Qin Wanyin had never imagined that she would be called out and scolded because of this. The reason the netizens scolded her was that she was a jinx. Qin Wanyin was trembling with anger. Why? She was the chosen one. The little system coaxed her for a long time, but she scolded it back. It didn't dare to say anything for a long time. Suddenly, the small system exclaimed, Host, the main system has detected that there is a problem with the assisting attacker. The assisting attacker has been erased, and a new task has been assigned to you. If you complete it, there will be a generous reward. Hearing the word reward, Qin Wanyin was delighted. What mission? Target the CEO of Xingchen Entertainment, Xiang Feng. Chapter 532. Achoo! Xiang Feng, who was standing in front of the floor-to-ceiling window with his new assistant's cup of black coffee, sneezed for the 6th time that morning. He took a sip of the coffee, which was so hot that his facial features were twitching. *CK, it's so hot. What the hell is this? It tastes awful. The assistant was so scared that her face turned pale and her legs trembled uncontrollably. Was this hard-won job going to be gone just like that? The next second, the handsome, charming, and domineering CEO said in a low voice, Miss Li, right? I have something to trouble you with. Assistant Li's teeth chattered. You, go downstairs to the the fast food restaurant and pack a cup of soy milk for me. Remember to bring a bag of white sugar. Assistant Li was stunned. Mr. Xiang, the soy milk in the fast food restaurant doesn't seem to be ground, but made with soy milk powder. It's not very healthy. Xiang Feng was confused. I'm already eating trash, why would I care about my health? Assistant Li, ? By the way, why is your face so dirty? Next time, wash your face clean before coming to work. Xiang Feng used his own face as an example and pointed at his chin, cheekbones, and nose. This, and this. You're a city beauty after all, you have to pay attention to your image. Assistant Li, if she remembered correctly, these spots were the makeup she used to modify the shape of her face, right? How did it become that she didn't wash her face? Also, your nose is red from the cold. Is it that cold? Lower the temperature of the air conditioner later. Assistant Li, she wasn't cold. She had deliberately applied blush to the tip of her nose to create a pitiful feeling, okay? Don't catch a cold. Assistant Li was feeling touched when she heard Xiang Feng take a few steps back with a vigilant expression. It won't be good if you spread it to me. Assistant Li, she finally understood why Mr. Xiang was still single. At the manor. Perhaps because she caught a cold last night, Xiangyi also sneezed twice when she woke up for her morning exercise. She didn't take it seriously and was about to practice a set of sword techniques when she heard a loud roar. Xiangyi. The little girl was so frightened that her hand trembled and she almost dropped her sword. She turned her head in confusion, but the moment she saw who it was, her expression was replaced by joy. Brother. The girl bounced towards Xiangqi but was shouted at by Xiangqi, Stop. Don't move. Xiangyi stopped and looked at him in confusion. Tall and well-proportioned, the man who could instantly outshine countless models, strode forward as if he was walking on a catwalk full of aura. He took off his long windbreaker and covered the girl's head with it. Xiangyi opened her mouth, but before she could say anything she heard third brother say fiercely, I'm telling you I'm angry. It was super cool. It's best that you remain silent. As he spoke, he nimbly helped Xiangyi put on the windbreaker. The girl wasn't short, but the man's windbreaker was still too big for her. It almost reached her ankles. Xiang Qi put his hands on his waist. Who allowed you to sneeze? I'm telling you, you're not allowed to hit me. You have to be healthy. Xiang Yi only found it funny. Why was third brother like a primary school student? You're still laughing? What are you laughing at? What's so funny? Xiang Yi blinked. Can I speak now? The most handsome and best brother in the universe, whoosh. Xiang Qi's ears turned red in a second, but he pretended to be calm. What did you say? I've been a little deaf recently. I have to say it a few more times to hear it clearly. Chapter 533. Xiang Yi smiled and said, Brother, you're the most handsome and dashing. Xiang Qi said, Go on, I'm still deaf. Before she could finish her sentence, a cold voice came from behind her. Sister, what am I then? Brother Xiang. Xiang Yi looked at her fourth brother, who was wearing a black sportswear. The young man was holding a huge and gorgeous trophy in his hand. His expression was cold and his hair was messy. He looked like he had rushed here after a long journey. Xiang Yi quickly changed her words. Brother Xiang, you love me the most. The next second, a gentle and elegant voice sounded. Tutu, I'll be sad if you say that. Xiang Yi. Brother Xiang was here too. She swallowed her saliva and felt like she was in an anime. Brother Xiang is the best. In the next second, oh? Really? It was as if he was shaking off a handful of snow on a distant mountain. The man's voice seemed to have a magnetic field that attracted people. It was her eldest brother, Sangchen. Xiang Yi was scared and hid behind Brother Xiang, who was closest to her. Brother Xiang hid behind Brother Xiang, and Brother Xiang hid behind Brother Xiang. It was as if an eagle was trying to catch a chick. At this moment, Xiang Li was the mother chick and Sangchen was the ferocious eagle. Sangchen had obviously just gotten off the plane as well. However, he always looked like an elite with neat clothes and neat hair. He adjusted his snow-white sleeves and looked past the crowd. His gaze landed on Xiang Yi. He walked closer to her slowly. Xiang Yi was so scared that she closed her eyes. After a while, she felt a weight on her shoulder. She opened her eyes slightly and found that Big Brother expressionlessly draped a suit jacket over her windbreaker. She said softly, Brother Xiang, I'm not cold. Sangchen said, You're cold? Xiang Yi was forced to follow her brother's deep and lonely eyes. I'm cold. Sangchen rubbed her little head. You have to wear more clothes in the morning. Sangchen was gentle to his younger sister. He was not so polite to his other younger brothers. He looked around and everyone who came into contact with his gaze couldn't help but stand up straighter. Are all of you very free? Everyone obediently answered Xiang Chen's question like elementary school students. Fourth bro Xiang Yu said weakly, I just finished my match. The team gave us 2 days off. Third brother Xiang Qi whistled guiltily. I'm a freelancer so I'm always free. The second son, Xiang Li, adjusted his glasses. I'm tired from the research so I came back to relax. It's important to strike a balance between work and rest. Sangchen nodded in response. As if he had sensed something, his gaze suddenly shot towards a certain direction. That sharp gaze invisibly pierced through the air, crushed through the thin mist, and finally fixed on a certain spot. Shi Sui was wearing a gray hoodie. She looked clean and fresh like a college student. He held a thermos in his hand and under Sangchen's gaze he walked towards Xiang Yi. Sister Yi, have some hot water. Xiang Yi took it and naturally thanked him. Thank you, boyfriend. Before she finished speaking, she was the first to react. She wanted to cover her mouth but it was too late. It was too late for her to regret it. She didn't expect that Shi Sui's words would cause all the hatred to be directed at her. Girlfriend, you're welcome. Sangchen rolled up his sleeves. Xiang Li took off his silver-rimmed glasses. Xiang Qi bent down and began to take off his shoes. Xiang Yu's hand holding the trophy was restless. The air was filled with the smell of gunpowder, but Shi Sui still calmly blinked her eyes and smiled at the Xiang brothers. Brothers, good morning. Chapter 534. The man's tone was languid and familiar, with a hint of coquettishness that was hard to ignore. The Xiang brothers? That D*****M man is so arrogant. Xiang Qi cursed and nudged Xiang Yu with his elbow. Fourth brother, take his trophy and smack him on the head. The young esports god's face was cold and aloof. Don't think he didn't know that third brother was trying to trick him. Hit him with your shoe. Xiang Yu wasn't going to fall for it. Xiang Qi, wasn't that because he didn't dare? Shi Sui and Sangchen were the same age. If Xiang Yu was the demon king who dominated everyone, then Shi Sui was the second demon king who smiled beside the demon king. He could talk, but Xiang Qi didn't dare to fight at all. Do you want to go for a run? Xiang Yi tried to get Shi Sui to leave this hellish place. Here a towel. The young girl handed over a towel. It was obviously a soft and pink towel for girls to use. Shui took it and slowly draped it around her neck. Her movements seemed to be 0.5 times faster than normal. Thank you, Sister E, the Xiang brothers. How can you tolerate this? Xiang Qi continued to fan the flames. Xiang Yu gritted his teeth and stuffed the trophy into third brother's hands. Hold it for me. He zipped up his team uniform and walked over to Shui expressionlessly. Run? Let's do it together. Xiang Yi wanted to stop him, but third brother grabbed her by the collar and she flailed her arms and legs like a little chick. Fourth brother, don't bully people. Although Xiang Yu was a professional esports player, he wasn't the type who neglected sports. On the contrary, he had excellent physical fitness and even ran a marathon during his vacation last month. Shui was such a delicate man, how could she outrun fourth brother? A certain movie king didn't know that his image in Xiang Yi's heart had collapsed. He chuckled and agreed. Okay, 3 kilometers then? 5 kilometers. Xiang Yu sneered and moved his wrists and ankles. His tone was tinged with the arrogance of a young man. You can run first. If Smog's fans were together, they would probably scream in unison. That was too arrogant. But it also made people feel cool. Xiang Qi didn't mind blowing things up. He put his finger to his mouth and whistled loudly. Ready, let's go. 2 figures, one black and one gray, gradually disappeared. Xiang Yi was on tenterhooks, afraid that Shui would run out of breath or force himself to continue running when he couldn't run anymore. The little girl's emotions were in a mess as she paced back and forth on the same spot. Xiang Qin and the others were calm as they sat down at the stone table and chairs in the courtyard. Xiang Qi even made tea for his big brother like a lackey. However, after tasting it, Xiang Qin frowned. Although he didn't say anything, he didn't touch it again. Bun Bun, can I trouble you to make a few cups of coffee? Xiang Li asked warmly. The restless girl nodded absent-mindedly and went back to her room to prepare. As soon as she left, Sangchen's aura became even colder. Even Xiang Li couldn't resist it. Tutu has really grown up. Xiang Li sighed. Sangchen sneered. She's just bewitched by a honey trap. The younger ones in the Xiang family hadn't seen Shui's true colors, but he had. People who came out of the darkness were not cloaked in light, but in a mask. Xiang Qi's brain twitched and he blurted out, I think it's better to let it go. We're worried that Xiang Yu's feelings will be played by a man. The solution is simple. Let Xiang Yu play with a man's feelings. For a moment, Sangchen and Xiang Li looked at Xiang Yu with very similar eyes. They looked silly. Chapter 535. Xiang Qi said confidently, I think what I said makes a lot of sense. Why are you guys looking at me like that? It's like I'm brainless? Xiang Li, you have. Sangchen, you have? Xiang Qi, very good, that hurt. Your logic is equivalent to turning Tutu into a scumbag to prevent Tutu from meeting a scumbag. Xiang Li clicked his tongue. You have the same genes, but I can't understand how you can be so stupid. Xiang Qi. He was just making a suggestion, why did it turn into a personal attack? As they spoke, Xiang Yi came out with a coffee pot and poured everyone a cup. The aroma of the hand-brewed coffee filled the air, mellow and slightly bitter. Xiang Chen's brows visibly relaxed as he picked up the glass and sipped from it. Xiang Li praised, Tutu's cooking has improved again. Hey, they're back, they're back. Xiang Qi's sharp eyes spotted the two running back. It was different from how Xiang Yi imagined Shui to be weak and unable to run. The man's expression was calm and his breathing was even. Only his forehead was sweating slightly. Fourth brother Xiang Yu was as tired as a dead dog. He was panting heavily and sweating profusely as he struggled to keep up with him. The girl's milky white face was blank. Was her boyfriend's stamina this good? Xiang Li and Sangchen were still able to maintain their composure, but Xiang Qi had lost control of his expression. He looked at Shui with horror in his eyes. What the F***ck? That scumbag is so strong? Shui stopped in her tracks as if she was deliberately showing off. She took the towel that Xiang Yi gave her and slowly wiped her sweat. Xiang Yu bent over and held his knees. He felt like his heart had never been this fast even during the World Series. The two of them did run 5 kilometers, but normal people only accelerated in the last few hundred meters. Shui ran at least 2 kilometers with him. 2 kilometers. Who could withstand this? His physical strength was quickly depleting. On the other hand, Shui looked as if nothing had happened. Xiang Yu suspected that he could continue running. What a freak. Too perverse. Brother, are you tired? Shui's question rang in his ears and Xiang Yu shuddered. Brother. Brother Shu, don't call me brother, How can I do that? I am Sister Yi's boyfriend. Of course I have to follow how Sister Yi calls me brother. Shui grabbed a new towel and wiped Xiangyu's sweat in a friendly manner. She even handed him a bottle of sports drink. Big brother, you work so hard playing esports every day, but you're also very good at sports. Xiangyu. Although these words were embarrassing, but it feels so good. For a boy to be praised by an older brother whom he had admired since he was a child, this was undoubtedly a huge recognition. Not only that, but Shui also added, I don't know if Xiao Naofu has woken up yet. It seems to have gained weight recently. Its face is round and its belly is soft. Whoosh, Xiangyu couldn't help but clench his fists. It's not fat. Brother, sure, don't call it fat. It'll be sad if it hears it. Sorry, it was a slip of the tongue. Shui looked innocent. It's not fat, it's just furry. Xiangyu's furry instincts kicked in and he lost all reason. He no longer felt tired and rushed into the living room, looking everywhere for Xiao Naofu. Mimi. Shui looked at Xiangyi and sneered silently. Xiangyi, she suddenly realized that her boyfriend seemed to be a little black-bellied? Chapter 536. A certain best actor who had successfully obtained the first blood, said in a gentle and harmless manner, Brothers, you must be tired from the long journey. It's time for breakfast. Xiangqi thought he had discovered a blind spot and stood up abruptly. How dare you order my sister to make breakfast? There's no rule in the Xiang family to order girls around. Although Xiangyi was a good cook, the Xiang family didn't really let her cook much. Even if she cooked or washed the dishes, these chores were all done by the men. Xiangyi coughed and said embarrassedly, Shui has been cooking recently. Her hand injury wasn't actually very serious, but Shui treated her like a child who couldn't take care of herself and didn't let her touch pots and pans at all. Xiangyi's hands were itching. She couldn't wait to pick up a big pot and toss it a few dozen times. Xiangqi didn't expect this answer. He was silent for 2 seconds and fully displayed the strength of a debater. Isn't it natural for boys to do housework? It's already so late and you still haven't let our tutu eat breakfast. Do you want her to starve? In Xiangyi's eyes, this scene was very much like a bossy, evil mother-in-law reprimanding a humble daughter-in-law in a TV series. The little girl gently tugged at his sleeve. Brother, don't be so fierce to him, Shui timely answered. I'm fine, Sister Yi. Brother is right. I'll go make breakfast now. Xiangyi looked at Shui. The man's long eyelashes just happened to be lowered, looking weak and docile. There's no rule in our family that boys eat at the table. The two looked at each other. Shui seemed to reluctantly raise the corners of his mouth. Then he quickly took a shower and began to busy himself in the kitchen. The rice cooker had cooked the porridge on time in advance. Shui cooked 2 home-cooked dishes with pickled vegetables and salted duck eggs. It looked quite a sumptuous meal. He laid out the dishes and was about to sit down when Xiangqi came out to nitpick again. There's no rule in our family that boys eat at the table. Xiangyi's eyes widened. Since when did our family have such a rule? And big brother, you're also a boy. Xiangqi added, boys other than my brother. She really hated her mother-in-law. Shui said in a low voice, whatever my brother says. You guys enjoy your meal. I'll just go to the side and eat something. As he spoke, he took a bowl of porridge and moved to a small stool at the side. He obediently held the bowl and drank it in small mouthfuls. She was really weak, helpless, and pitiful. Those who heard this scene were heartbroken, and those who heard it shed tears. Xiangyi couldn't hold it in any longer. She sat down beside Shui with a bowl of porridge in her hand. She accompanied her silently to protest against her third brother's feudal tyranny. Here, the duck egg yolks are for you. The girl gave all her duck egg yolks to Shui. Shui declined. Sister Yi, don't worry about me. Go back and have dinner with my brothers. I can't watch you suffer like this. It's okay for me to suffer a little. Hearing the conversation between the two, Xiangqi was completely baffled. Dixum. He just wanted to bully Shui, that bastard. Why did he push his sister to him? By the way, Sister Yi, I accidentally tore your apron? Shui sighed. That's the one and only apron that my brother made for you. I'm sorry. I'll try to sew it up later. Xiangqi was listening to their conversation. When he heard this, he became anxious. You can't sew it up. Where's the apron? I'll do it. Chapter 537. Brother, it's okay. I can stitch too. Although I'm not good at it, I'll try my best. A certain best actor started to speak. Xiangqi was furious. How dare you touch my work when you know that you're not good at it? Xiang Qi could tolerate it in other aspects, but when it came to his own work he was particular about excellence and impeccable. He could even be called a perfectionist. Shi Sui looked like a punching bag. "Brother, I was wrong," Xiang Qi said aggressively. "Let me tell you, it's my job to stitch things for my sister. Don't even think about snatching it from me. Don't even think about it in this lifetime. In this world, I'm the only one who can make the most beautiful little dress for my sister. I'm so envious of Sister Yi for having such a good brother like you." This sentence accurately hit Xiang Qi's heart. He cleared his throat and suddenly felt that Shi Sui was much more pleasing to the eye. Well, it was alright. Anyway, with his handicapped skills, he definitely wouldn't be able to threaten his position in his sister's heart. At this thought, Xiang Qi suddenly felt relieved. He glanced at Shi Sui from the corner of his eyes like a king looking at bronze. Then, he put his hands in his pockets and hummed a tune as he went to stitch up the little apron for his sister. Xiang Yi was dumbfounded by his actions. This works too? What should I do if I suddenly find out that my boyfriend is black? Xiang Yu and Xiang Qi were taken down one after another. Xiang Li and Sangchen looked on coldly from the sidelines. These two intelligent men naturally wouldn't be bewitched by Shi Sui's little tricks. Shi Sui wasn't in a hurry. After finishing her porridge, she took the initiative to clean up the table. She even pretended to wash all the dishes by hand without using the dishwasher. It could be said that she was virtuous to the extreme. Xiang Li said, "It's just an act." Sangchen said, "Ha." The two of them were not moved at all. However, it had to be said that this action had subtly made a good impression on them. In the living room, Xiang Yu let go of himself and hugged Xiao Naofu, kissing and sucking. Xiao Naofu revealed a forced expression. Xiang Qi skillfully sewed the small apron for his sister and took out some cloth to make a few bows for his sister's hair. Sangchen used his laptop to reply to his work emails while massaging his temples from time to time. On the other hand, Xiang Li and Xiang Li were discussing the collaboration between Little Rabbit Farm and Nanjing Research Institute. The atmosphere was quite harmonious. However, when Shi Sui walked out of the kitchen, the balance was broken. Seeing that the atmosphere was about to explode, Xiang Yi hurriedly tried to ease the tension and asked casually, "Shi Sui, who won the last Nanjing Agronomy Award? I kind of want to plant that super pumpkin he developed." Shi Sui, "Let me think." Xiang Li scoffed. "Do you still need to think about it? After all, you haven't even gone to college. It's normal that you can't answer this kind of question. The winner of the last agronomy prize was..." Xiang Li was suddenly at a loss for words. The reason why geniuses were geniuses was that they had a photographic memory. However, there was a basic prerequisite for not forgetting, and that was to have a look at it. For things that they had never seen, understood, or heard of, it was impossible for geniuses to know the answer out of thin air. Xiang Li had some knowledge of pure agronomy, but he had never paid attention to the winner of the Nanjing Agronomy Award. "It's teacher Lin Zhengyu, right?" In the almost suffocating silence, Shi Sui casually mentioned a name and then gave a speech that could be called the King of Tea. "Big brother, you're already very outstanding. It's normal for you to have blind spots in your knowledge occasionally." Xiang Li, F***CKU. Chapter 538. Shi Sui, Brother, are you angry? "I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose." Xiang Li, "I didn't." A certain actor tugged at Xiang Yi's sleeve. "Sister Yi, brother is angry with me. It's all my fault for affecting brother's mood." Xiang Yi's heart softened. She helped to plead for him. "Brother, don't be angry, okay? Shi Sui has a point. Brother, you're too strict with yourself. Even geniuses aren't omniscient and omnipotent. Also, Shi Sui didn't go to university. It's not that he didn't want to, but he couldn't because of his family. It's wrong of him to use this to mock others." Xiang Li. He was so angry, but he had to maintain a smile. Xiang Li, who had successfully suffered a loss, adjusted his glasses with his fingers and felt a little depressed. Forget it, he admitted defeat. He had been careless. He had underestimated Tutu's feelings for this dog of a man. However, Big Brother had not made a move yet. Xiang Li smiled ambiguously and sat down on the sofa in a comfortable position, waiting for Shi Sui to be tortured by Big Brother. As expected, when Sangchen hit the last enter key, he looked up and raised his eyebrows slightly at Shi Sui. "Long time no see. Do you want to exercise?" Xiang Yi knew that the exercise Big Brother was talking about was definitely not the kind of exercise in the square. Without thinking, she stood in front of Shi Sui. "Brother, he's very delicate. Wu, don't hit him. Hit me instead." Sangchen. The others? Only Shi Sui was stunned for a few seconds before he broke into a joyful smile. The feeling of being protected by a little rabbit, it was not bad. Sangchen was expressionless. Tutu, come here. The little girl trembled. Brother, come here? The man's aura was imposing. Not only Xiangyi but even Xiangli and the others were a little overwhelmed. Suddenly, Shi Sui held Xiangyi's small hand as if there was no one else around and wrapped it tightly in his palm. I'll go with Sister Yi. The young girl's doe eyes lit up. Sangchen, Xiang Qi secretly complained, does this dog of a man really think we're dead? Xiang Yu, you can't beat him. Xiang Qi, tisk, that's because I don't want to make a move, you know? Xiang Yu, you can't beat him. Xiang Qi, as long as I get serious, even Big Brother will lose to me. Xiang Yu couldn't be bothered with him and retorted, go ahead if you're so good. Xiang Qi covered his mouth with his finger and coughed twice. Using violence to solve problems is a method that only low-level creatures would use to solve disputes. The next second, Sangchen took off his suit jacket and threw it on the armrest of the sofa next to him. His voice was low and mellow, as cold as snow. Tutu, get out of the way. Big Brother, you can't secretly bully him in the name of activities. Xiangyi argued. You're committing the crime of intentional injury. You're wrong, I'm not secretly bullying him. Sangchen rolled up his sleeves. I'm openly bullying him. Xiangyi? Shi Sui chuckled. He let go of the little girl's hand and looked at her eyes. Close your eyes. He felt the girl's eyelashes trembling in his palm. He whispered in her ear, let Big Brother vent his anger. I'm fine. I'm already mentally prepared to get beaten up. After all, I abducted their most cherished and beloved little rabbit. Chapter 539. Upon hearing Shi Sui's words, Xiangyi suddenly felt a lump in her throat. Although her vision was in darkness, her hearing was exceptionally sharp. The sound of heavy breathing, footsteps, punches and kicks landing on the body, every sound was like a drumbeat on her heartstrings. Xiangyi clutched the corner of her clothes tightly. Shi Sui and Sangchen did not exchange any unnecessary words. They were equally matched in terms of strength, and it was difficult to determine the winner. Xiang Qi counted himself lucky that he did not make a move. If he made a move, he would definitely be beaten up. After dozens of moves, Shi Sui went easy on him a little, and in the blink of an eye, he was hit a few times. Sangchen sensed that something was wrong. He frowned slightly, grabbed Shi Sui's collar, and pinned him against the wall. Bang! A loud sound was heard. He said in a low voice, I don't need you to go easy on me. Shi Sui had taken off his glasses, revealing a pair of upturned eyes. Brother, are you tired? Do you want to rest? His tone was provocative. The veins on Sangchen's forehead were throbbing. He was about to continue beating him when he inadvertently caught a glimpse of Xiangyi's face. The young girl clutched the corner of her clothes tightly. Her slender and soft fingers were so tight that her knuckles were pale. Her eyelashes were trembling uncontrollably, and a teardrop rolled down her face unexpectedly. She was crying. Tutu was crying. Sangchen was at a loss of what to do. When she was young, Tutu could not bear any grievances. She would sob non-stop when she cried. However, ever since her parents' accident, she rarely cried. It was as if she had suddenly grown up overnight. If that was the price of growing up, Sangchen hoped that she would never grow up in her lifetime. At this moment, Sangchen's heart was really breaking when she cried. He slowly let go of Shi Sui's hand that was shackling him. All of a sudden, all his venting seemed to be meaningless. Following his line of sight, Xiang Li and the others also noticed Xiangyi's tears. The men started to panic. Sister, don't cry. Little sister, Big Brother is here. Little rabbit, eat a candy, okay? The three of them surrounded the young girl and tried to coax her. Sangchen did not step forward. His expression was unreadable. Shi Sui's Adam's apple bobbed. In his eyes, there was only the little girl not far away. All of his schemes and calculations seemed laughable. He advanced step by step. But she had never calculated. Shi Sui licked the corner of his mouth, where he had just been punched by Sangchen, and the pain was still clear. He wanted to get close to her, but he felt that he was not worthy. Xiangyi was originally just a little sad, but after being coaxed by her brothers, she seemed to have lost control of her tear ducts, and her tears fell uncontrollably. She felt embarrassed. She turned around and covered her face with her hands, sobbing softly. The brothers immediately panicked. Sister, what's wrong? What's wrong? Xiangyi sobbed, it's so embarrassing. I'm already so old and I'm still crying like this. How could that be? It's human nature to cry. Yes. In front of us, you can cry if you want. Tutu, in our eyes, you'll always be a willful little kid. Xiangyi finally stopped crying. She looked at Sanchen from afar. Her beautiful doe eyes were moist, and the corners of her eyes were red like a rabbit's. It was as if tears would fall any second. She did not say anything, but it was already more than 1,000 words. How could he bear to let his sister be sad? Sanchen's expression changed and the muscles on his jaw tightened. He glanced at Shui and gritted his teeth. He seemed to be dissatisfied and helpless. You got off easy. Chapter 540. These words meant that no matter how upset Sanchen felt, he had accepted Shui, because this was the person Tutu liked. Shui took a deep breath and suppressed the surging emotions in his voice. I won't let her down. I hope you understand the weight of these words. Sanchen's eyes were full of warning. With that, Sanchen walked out of the living room without looking back. He needed to smoke a cigarette to calm down. However, Tutu hated the smell of cigarettes. Xiangyi adjusted her emotions and ran towards Shui. She held the man's large hand and asked, "Does it hurt anywhere? Let me see if it's serious." This scene was an eyesore to the brothers of the Xiang family. However, Xiangyu had been the head of the family since he was young. Judging from his attitude, he had obviously accepted Shui. Xiangyu clenched his fists and said seriously, "Brother Shi, you've been the brother I respected since we were young. My sister is the treasure of our family. I hope you can treat her well." Xiang Qi said in a harsh tone, "Shi, I'm telling you, if you let my sister suffer, I won't let you off." Xiang Li wiped his glasses with an alcohol pad. His temperament was refined, but the words he spoke were inexplicably chilling. "You better understand that our family's bunny is definitely not a girl you can treat casually." Shui nodded. "I'll take your words to heart. What should I do? What should I do when this D***M man calls me brother?" He suddenly understood why Xiangyu had gone out. The three of them were silent and left the living room at the same time. They were afraid that if they stayed any longer, they wouldn't be able to resist beating up Shui. Even after they left, Xiangyi was still in a daze and in disbelief. "My brothers agreed to let us be together?" Shui chuckled. "It seems so!" Xiangyi's eyes sparkled. That's great, that's great. Thank you, Sister Yi, for bringing me to meet my family. And thank you, Sister Yi, for giving me a status. Hearing this, Xiangyi was a little embarrassed. It's my duty to bring my boyfriend to meet my family. Shui rubbed her soft hair and said apologetically, "I'm sorry, Sister Yi. I'm afraid I can't take you to see my family for the time being." Xiangyi had heard a little about Shui's family situation. Shui was brought up by her father and the two of them were very close. His master was a famous painter. His attainments in art had reached the point of perfection. He could be called a master. Unfortunately, he had a mental problem and was currently recuperating abroad. Mother Shi worked hard in the business world. She had gone through bankruptcy before, but she had made a comeback. She was a typical career woman. Xiangyu had heard that she had a deep conflict with Shui, but he didn't know the details. It's okay. Let nature take its course. Not only did Xiangyi not take it to heart, she even comforted Shui. Uncle will definitely get better. The two of them were talking when they were suddenly interrupted by a series of footsteps. Oh my God, Sister Yi, why did you summon all your brothers? Li Jinyu was dancing with excitement. How long have they been in the manor? Xiangyi thought for a moment. They should all be here today. Li Jinyu did an exaggerated slide and rushed in front of Xiangyi. Sister Yi, did you know? You have a halo on top of your head. The four brothers of the Xiang family were all here. How interesting. How interesting. The guests of other families were making the director worry. A guest like Xiangyi is really rare. Chapter 541. Not only did they not have to worry, but they also brought along their own guests. Xiangyi, it's okay for them to be on camera, but I don't know if today's guests will mind. Today's guests seem to be very important. The current guests were basically invited before Two Under One Roof became popular, and it took Li Jinyu a lot of effort to invite them. Although it was a live broadcast, Xiangyi was worried that the guests would mind being robbed of the limelight. It's okay, Director Zheng is a very nice person. Shui explained in a gentle voice. He won't mind this. Director Zheng was a TV drama director, and he was the one who directed the drama that made Shui win the Best Actor award. The two of them were very close. That's good, that's good. Li Jinyu was relieved and looked at the time. Seeing that it was about time, he hurriedly said, Director Zheng is probably coming soon, I'll go to the door to greet him. By the way, Daddy Shi, why are you in such a mess? There was also a footprint on the front of Shui's sweater. The man's expression did not change. I'll go change and go with you. He went back to his room. After changing his pants, Shui took off his sweater and casually chose a white shirt from the cloakroom. Just as he was about to put it on, there was a knock on the door. He immediately recognized Xiangyi from the familiar rhythm. His thin lips curled slightly, and he hung the shirt back on the hanger before opening the door. A girl holding a medical kit entered his sight. Xiangyi looked up and saw Shui without a shirt. Her eyes widened, but she still pretended to be calm. "Aren't you cold?" Shui smiled and asked instead of answering, "Do I look good?" Xiangyi's face instantly burned. What should I do?" She felt that Shui's face was good-looking, his Adam's apple was good-looking, his collarbone was good-looking, and his abdominal muscles were also good-looking. Every part of his body just happened to be on her aesthetic level. The tips of Xiangyi's ears turned red and she stole a glance at Shui's V-line belt. That's it. Don't let your imagination run wild. I'll check it for you." The man's skin was cold and fair, and his thin layer of muscles were toned and strong. He did not look weak. A few bruises were particularly conspicuous. Xiangyi pressed a few times and asked Shui how she felt. After confirming that his bones weren't injured, the young lady heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that Big Brother still had a sense of propriety. She looked up and met Shui's eyes, which were as dark as the abyss. Her heart skipped a beat. "Do you like it?" she heard Shui ask in a hoarse voice. Xiangyi's ears turned even redder. She stuffed the medical kit into his hands and said, "Apply some ointment or paste some ointment on yourself. How can a boy be so casual? You have to protect yourself when you're outside. Don't wear such revealing clothes." Shui chuckled. "Sister E, are you afraid that others will take advantage of me?" Xiangyi said seriously, "It's hard to fathom a person's heart. It's hard to guarantee that there are bad guys out there." Schwa, her little hand was suddenly pulled and pressed against the part of his body that was called famous abdominal muscles by fans. Xiangyi said shyly, "Don't do this. You feel like I'm taking advantage of you? You're the only one who's taking advantage of me, okay?" That last syllable of his was enough to make one go limp. "Xiangyi?" She pulled a long face and said in an extremely serious tone. "Shui, I have a secret to tell you." "Huh?" "I think there's a bad person living in my heart. It's a little. It wants to do bad things to you." Shui raised his eyebrows. Xiangyi promised, "Don't worry, I'll kill it." Before she could finish her sentence, a pair of warm hands touched the back of her neck. The man's breathing was heavy. "Sister E, do you want to do whatever you want for once?" Chapter 542. Wherever his slender and well-defined fingertips touched, there seemed to be traces of electric current, spreading an inexplicable itch. Xiangyi instinctively swallowed her saliva. The man's handsome face was right in front of her. His peach blossom eyes were deep and affectionate as he stared at her without blinking. You should put on your clothes properly. Boys should look like boys. Sister E, don't you like it?" "Huh?" The distance between the two of them was so close that they could hear each other's breathing clearly. The girl's slender neck was stained with a thin layer of crimson. Her voice was as soft as a mosquito's hum. "I like it." Not only did she like to look, but she also wanted to poke it. Shui smiled and led the girl's hand to his lower abdomen. "How about now? Are you happy?" "Xiangyi?" The girl's neck and ears were completely red. She looked like a deep-fried spicy crayfish that had just been fished out of a hot pan. His 8-pack abs were well-defined, and his Apollo's belt was smooth and snaking to the side of his pants. Apart from his body temperature, she could even feel the explosive power contained in his muscles. Her fair fingers trembled slightly. Xiangyi curled her fingertips and said softly, "I'm happy, then I'll tell Sister E a secret too." Shui moved closer to Xiangyi's ear. His hot breath sprayed on the girl's neck. "In my heart there's also a dark villain. It's unbearable, despicable, and dirty. It has long been premeditated against you. It's scheming against you. It's scheming against you. It's scheming against you." Xiangyi listened quietly. This was the first time Shui had analyzed his own heart to someone. He looked at the girl's clean and clear doe eyes. His voice was hoarse. "Sister E, I don't seem to be worthy of your love." Before he could finish his words, the girl interrupted him. "I know." Xiangyi looked straight at him and repeated, "I know. I know everything." It wasn't that she didn't know anything. She just chose not to understand. "Shui, I have a lot of flaws too. Just like you, we're not perfect people, but it doesn't matter." She broke into a gentle and radiant smile. "Let's become better together, okay?" At this moment, the thousands upon thousands of mountains scattered, leaving only the young girl's figure in his eyes. Shui's Adam's apple moved. He had thought of countless answers, but he had never thought that Xiangyi's response would be this. You don't mind me scheming against you? Xiangyi blinked her eyes. I think that you're really cute when you play tricks. Actually. She was a little embarrassed as her cheeks heated up. Actually, I'm also worried that I'm not good enough. I'm worried that I won't have a place in your heart. That's why I'll always put on my best face in front of you. Actually, I'm not that good. Her little hand was held tightly. Sure Sui, you're good. Xiangyi, nice to meet you too. The two of them looked at each other and burst into laughter. Can you put on your clothes now? Xiangyi cleared her throat. Do you think that I don't know that you didn't put on your clothes on purpose? Sure Sui chuckled. You even found out? The girl looked around and saw that there was no one around. She tiptoed and whispered into his ear. You're indeed a famous abdominal muscle. The netizens didn't lie to me. After saying that, the girl's whole body was burning up. She ran out in her slippers. Sure Sui stood there with a smile in his eyes. The dark little person in his heart finally welcomed a gentle glimmer of light that wanted to dash forward regardless of her own safety. Chapter 543. The brothers of the Xiang family had mixed feelings when they saw little Bunny running out of the living room with a flushed face. Their little Bunny was being chased by a dog just like that. Who would be happy about that? Not long after, Sure Sui came out in a fresh set of clothes. He was wearing a simple white shirt that looked clean and fresh. As a basic hospitality, Xiangyi and he went to the door to welcome Director Zheng. Just as the two arrived at the door, Director Zheng's car happened to be there. Director Zheng had an average figure and was slightly plump. He had a good attitude and liked to wear sportswear, so he looked much younger than his actual age. However, there was someone else who got out of the car with Director Zheng. It was Zhui. The man was wearing a sweat-absorbing fitness suit that accentuated his firm muscles. His wheat-colored skin looked healthy and sunny, and his handsome features gave off a chivalrous vibe. The moment she saw him, Xiangyi's brows furrowed. The audience, on the other hand, was excited. What the F***ck, what did I just see? Friends, please share your shock on the public chat. Amazing. They actually managed to invite Best Actor Zhuo to their show? Wow, Best Actor Zhuo is still as handsome as he used to be. He's so handsome. Seeing that Zhuo Yi had actually come, Li Jinyu was extremely disgusted. Zhuo Yi also had a livestream variety show, which was a parody of Muyao TV's Two Under One Roof. Although it wasn't as popular as Two Under One Roof, the combination of livestream variety shows and food elements made it very popular. Those who didn't know better would probably think that it was a joint venture between the two variety shows. Director Zheng was an introverted person. Although he had a good relationship with Sure Sui, he didn't talk much. Besides, it was his first time participating in a live stream and he was a little nervous. After a simple greeting, he remained silent. Zhui Yi came uninvited, but he didn't feel awkward at all. Instead, he enthusiastically chatted with him. Xiao Sui, long time no see. You've become even more handsome recently. Hey, you must be sistery. You're so cute, you look like a doll. Sure Sui nodded slightly in response. Xiangyi became even colder and didn't say a word. At first glance, their attitude was too impolite, and some netizens immediately denounced them. Is this the attitude of a guest? Please, Best Actor Zhuo is a senior. Don't you know any etiquette? Sure Yingdi is at least on the same level as Zhuo Yingdi. It's fine if he's aloof, but what right does Xiangyi have? Other than variety shows, what other representative works did she have that made her treat Best Actor Zhuo with such an attitude? This is unforgivable. Along the way from the entrance of the manor, the atmosphere was unusually awkward. Although Zhuo Yi was a silly uncle, he had gained a lot of fans over the past 2 years. Many of Zhuo Yi's fans were furious when they saw that Xiangyi and Sure Sui did not respond to him despite his efforts to liven up the atmosphere. Don't the Vase Fairy and Sure Sui know that there's a Chinese phrase called feel at home? Even through the screen, I feel embarrassed for Best Actor Zhuo. He tried so hard to tell jokes, but no one paid any attention to him. I've seen people act like big shots, but I've never seen anyone act like that in front of their seniors. Sure Sui, Xiangyi, you're awesome. I won't explain myself for life. When they finally arrived at the courtyard, Zhui Yi volunteered to chop some firewood. After that, he even cleaned up the yard. His diligent actions had won him a lot of favor. Xiangyi, however, pretended that he didn't exist. She leisurely brewed a pot of tea for Director Zheng and even prepared some exquisite desserts. In contrast, more netizens began to criticize them. Chapter 544. Even the fans of Spicy Tutu couldn't understand. Xiangyi treated everyone else politely, but why did she treat Zhui Yi with such an attitude? Someone among the fans of the untimely CP stood up and made a bold guess. When Zhuyi worked with Shui, he pretended to be serious and deliberately broke Shui's ribs. Could Sister E be using this method to express her displeasure? As soon as this statement was made, Shui's sisters mocked him. If she's rude, so be it. Why bother washing? Please don't ride on Shui's coattails. The vase fairy must have a low EQ. How could she be doing this for Shui? In the manner. Xiangyi's movements of brewing tea were smooth and elegant. It was pleasing to the eye and had a classical and elegant beauty to it. The tea was clear and fragrant. Director Zheng was someone who knew about tea. After tasting it, he couldn't help but praise, "Good tea. I'm glad you like it." "Miss Xiang, are you very knowledgeable about tea?" Director Zheng asked with interest. "I don't know much, just a little." "Miss Xiang, you're being too modest." Director Zheng sighed and said, "The drama I'm currently filming happens to have a plot about tea. Miss Xiang, would you be interested in making a cameo appearance?" It was supposed to be a normal conversation between the two of them. However, the speaker did not mean it, but the listener did. The listener misinterpreted their conversation. "Did you hear that?" Director Zheng said that Xiangyi is good at making tea. She's a green tea B***T to begin with. This kind of role suits her very well. Does the vase fairy still need to act? Isn't she just acting as herself? While there was a heated argument in the comments, in reality, Zhuyi went up to Shui, who was trimming the flowers. "Shui, how have you been lately?" Zhuyi asked, acting like a senior who was concerned about his junior. Shui said indifferently, "Thanks to you, I'm doing all right." He obviously didn't intend to continue the topic, but Zhuyi continued, "I'm so envious of you young people. You have so many shows to film, unlike me. I'm getting on in years and there are too few suitable scripts." His words were filled with envy as well as the sadness of a hero past his prime. Shui glanced at him. "Senior, have you ever considered changing your profession?" All these years, Zhuyi had been walking the path of a kung fu star. The dramas he filmed were mostly martial arts or action movies. Zhuyi laughed heartily and said, "After all, I have a martial arts dream in my heart. If I don't do it, who in this circle will persist?" These words were said with great skill and aroused the sympathy of many people. "I really miss the glorious era of martial arts movies. When I was young, the thing I wanted to be the most was a chivalrous hero, riding a horse to the ends of the world with a sword. Fortunately, there are fewer and fewer Wuxia movies nowadays. It's not easy for best actor Zhua. I feel like there's a Buddha nature in him. It's the kind of sacrificial spirit that says if I don't go to hell, who will?" Comparing the two, it's obvious who's better. Shui has acted in many commercial films, right? He had no feelings for her at all. Unlike best actor Zhua, who still stuck to his original intentions. Shui only cares about money. Just as everyone was discussing intensely, a straightforward and doubtful voice entered everyone's ears. "Bro, isn't the reason why you only act in Wuxia movies because your acting skills are terrible?" Everyone was speechless. "Oh, who is it? Does he still want to stay in the industry? How could he say something like that?" The camera shook and changed before finally landing on a domineering CEO who was not at all domineering. Chapter 545. The audience in front of the screen had blank looks on their faces. "Oh, who is this person?" The cameraman was also a little dumbfounded and didn't move his camera for a long time. The netizens began to discuss. "His words are too hurtful. How uneducated, do you know how to chat? To be honest, he's quite good looking, but I don't know why his temperament is a little silly." Zhuyi's expression changed when he saw the person's face clearly. If it were anyone else, he would definitely not swallow his anger given his status in the entertainment industry. However, in front of the real big shot, Zhuyi was very flexible. He smiled and said, "Mr. Xiang, you must be joking. I'm an unorthodox actor. I can't compare to those who have been trained in acting." He seemed to be humble, but he was actually trying to send a message. As an actor who had not been trained in acting, he had already achieved a lot. She didn't expect Xiang Feng to question her. "Joking? You've misunderstood, I'm seriously dissing you." Zhuyi was speechless. That feeling was even worse than eating a fly. The audience in the live stream was about to burst out in anger when someone copied a paragraph from the encyclopedia. Xiang Feng, the current CEO of Xingchen Group, has subsidiaries such as Xingchen Entertainment, Xingchen Video, Xingchen Livestream, and Xingchen Literature website. He graduated from Haslington University with a degree in business studies. The netizens were dumbfounded. This person is the most domineering CEO of all domineering CEOs. All of a sudden, the pop-up comments changed. So he's a sugar daddy? Mr. Xiang, you're really sharp with your words. Mr. Xiang is so refreshing and unpretentious, completely different from those big CEOs out there. No wonder Zhuyi was so polite even after being dissed. This is a real big shot. Ever since he started doing business, he's been especially lucky. He has repeatedly created business miracles. For example, Xingchen Livestream started by acquiring a bankrupt company, but the next year, it turned a loss into a profit. Don't underestimate him. The comment section was full of praise for Xiang Feng. Even when he dissed Zhuyi, everyone felt that he was sincere and straightforward. Seeing him, Xiangyi's eyes lit up. She made a cup of honey grapefruit water and brought it to her uncle. Xiang Feng was addicted to sweetness and gulped down a large mouthful, ignoring Zhuyi beside him. Not bad. It's sweet and delicious. If you like it, you can bring a bottle with you when you leave. I even made some passion fruit lemons. The conversation between the two was very casual, but when the netizens heard it, they couldn't help but feel jealous. Tiske she doesn't care about best actor Zhua, but she's sucking up to her sugar daddy like this. Are you worthy? The vase fairy is really poisonous. She didn't even pour a drop of saliva for Zhuangdi. He's a guest after all. Is this how you treat him? She's so snobbish. I can't stand Xiangyi anymore. I really don't understand why so many people like a girl like her. Is there something wrong with me or is there something wrong with society? Just as the netizens were getting excited, they heard Zhuyi forcefully interject and awkwardly say, Sister Yi and Mr. Xiang both have the same surname. Going back a few generations, their ancestors must be from the same family. Xiang Feng, who had the lowest IQ in the family, suddenly felt a sense of superiority. He looked at Zhuyi like he was looking at a fool. What are you counting for? The two of us are family. I'm Xiangyi's uncle. Her biological uncle. In an instant, the netizens who had just finished being keyboard warriors were dumbfounded. Chapter 546. What the hell? The sugar daddy that countless people dream of is actually Xiangyi's uncle? Then what's the point of hating? F***ck. Zhuyi was even more dumbfounded. He was completely dumbfounded, feeling like he had flattered the wrong person. However, after realizing that Xiangyi was the real deal, a glint flashed across Zhuyi's eyes. The charm of an uncle was not something a little girl could resist. Although he was already married, he could still play with this little girl. When the time came, wouldn't he have both beauty and resources? Zhuyi's mind was full of wishful thinking when he inadvertently met Shui's gaze and his heart skipped a beat. The man's gaze was deep and ruthless, revealing an inexplicable ruthlessness. She was clearly his junior, but Zhuyi couldn't help but shudder. Subconsciously, he avoided Shui's gaze. Haha, so you two are relatives, no wonder you look so similar. Zhuyi was the typical type of person who would let others feel awkward as long as he didn't feel awkward. He even kept calling her Sister E. I heard that Sister E is preparing to act in a drama? Do you need me to tell you some things you need to take note of? It's all based on our experience. Xiangyi said coldly, thank you but no need. Zhuyi laughed dryly. Haha, Sister E really has a personality. In the live stream, smoke rose again. What's wrong with Xiangyi? How can she talk to her senior like that? I'm speechless. Movie King Zhuo was kind enough to impart his experience to you. Not only did you not accept it humbly, you even rejected it. I just fell into the trap today. Is this the gentle Xiangyi you guys boast about? Her EQ is obviously low. I can't watch anymore, I'm going to turn off the live stream. The next second, Xiang Feng unceremoniously retorted, does our Xiangyi need you to teach her? Are you worthy? This extremely dramatic scene directly pushed the development of the plot to the climax. Many viewers who like to watch a good show watched with relish while munching on melon seeds. Fight, 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 hurry up and fight. Xiangyi's coldness didn't matter, but Xiang Feng's rebuttal made Zhuyi break out in a cold sweat. What did he do wrong? Would he offend the president of Star Group? President Xiang, yes, I'm not worthy. Zhuyi's tone was humble and he wanted to slip away. I saw a water tank in the small kitchen. I'll go get some water. There was tap water in the manor as well as a well he had dug himself. It tasted fresh and slightly sweet. Zhuyi put his arm around Shui's shoulder as he walked. They looked like brothers. Little Sui, let's go together. Let's try to fill them up as soon as possible. Shua, his arm was grabbed by a fair hand and he was suspended in the air. Zhuyi stared at Xiangyi in astonishment. The girl was expressionless. Don't touch him. Zhuyi chuckled and said, Sister E, are you misunderstanding something? My relationship with him is very good. Right, little Sui? He thought that Shui would more or less give him some face, but to his surprise, Xiangyi interrupted him and turned to look at Shui. Is your relationship really good? After a pause, the girl said in a childish tone, I'm here. You can tell the truth. Shui stared at her quietly. After a few seconds, she suddenly chuckled. Oh, little Sui, you. Zhuyi's eyes widened like copper bells. Did you hear that? Xiangyi's tone was cold. Stay away from Shui. You don't deserve to appear in front of him. No one cares about him. I do. Chapter 547. The wind seemed to have stopped. It was as if someone had pressed the pause button, and there was silence all around. Zhuyi's expression changed again and again. He wanted to hold it in, but in the end he couldn't calm down. Although eating well for all 3 meals wasn't bad, it still couldn't compete with 2 under one roof. The gap between the 2 variety shows was getting wider and wider. 2 under one roof was already faintly showing signs of exploding, while eating well for all 3 meals was gradually going downhill. Zhuyi couldn't figure out why there was such a huge gap in popularity between the 2 shows, which were both about delicious food and public displays of affection. He used all his means and specially came over to see what was going on. However, he didn't expect them to not give him any face at all. Zhuyi was afraid that the past would be brought up again, so he took the initiative and said angrily, Sister E, you've gone too far with your words. Fine, since I'm not welcome here, I'll leave. His acting skills weren't weak and he got into character within minutes. He strode away and said to Li Jinyu, I came to support your show, but you're treating me like this. Why should I take this lying down? The atmosphere was a little stagnant. Some empathetic netizens were influenced by Zhuyi's words and were put in his shoes. I'm so angry, how can they say that about teacher Zhua? What did best actor Zhua do wrong? Why are they treating him like this? Shui and Xiangyi are really from the same family. Both of them are so outrageous. Zhuyi's acting was smooth, which could be considered the pinnacle of his acting career. That was if he hadn't met the Terminator of acting, Xiang Fengfeng. Unfortunately, he had met him this time. Xiang Fengfeng questioned, well, no one invited you here, right? Didn't you come here yourself? As one of the sponsors of 2 under one roof, Xiang Fengfeng had gone through the guest list before. He remembered clearly that Zhuyi wasn't on it. Zhuyi stopped in his tracks. The netizens in front of the screen were dumbfounded. What? Zhuyi wasn't invited? So Zhuyi came uninvited today? Xiang Feng shook his legs, completely lacking the aura of a domineering CEO. Also, if I say you're fat, why are you panting? Who are you acting for? Don't you know why RE is so mean to you? Zhuyi suddenly had a bad premonition. When we were filming, you thought you were a senior and Shui was a newbie. You acted for real and even broke Shui's ribs. Do you really think the internet doesn't remember? Xiang Feng didn't give Zhuyi any face. Before you question how others treat you, why don't you reflect on how you treat others? Did your brain run away from home and go to Antarctica to feed the penguins? Xiang Feng spoke quickly like a machine gun, but it contained a huge amount of information. The netizens were stunned. So there was such a thing? The Shui sisters chimed in one after another. That's right. It's true. It even made the headlines back then, but Shui wasn't popular at the time, so the matter was left unsettled. Zhuyi's interview back then didn't hurt him at all. He even said that it was natural for a senior to hit a junior. The video of Stinky's Guide to the Stars can be found. Zhuyi's body swayed a little. He didn't expect that not only would he fail to gain some popularity, he would even get himself implicated. Chapter 548. Not to mention the passers-by, even Shui's sister didn't know all about what happened back then. Now that the truth was exposed, the netizens were shocked and furious. Zhuyi was such a scumbag that he broke someone's bones while filming. He was obviously bullying them on purpose. Shui was now on fire. If he wasn't, would he have no choice but to swallow his anger? No, other than Shui, could there be other victims? Some netizens who were more active had already started digging deeper into the matter. In reality, Zhuyi wished he could dig a hole and bury himself in it. He didn't know whether to leave or stay, so he was tormented on the spot. Xiangyi suddenly said, I'll walk you out. The cameraman wanted to follow, but Xiangyi gestured for him to stop. Although he didn't understand her intention, the cameraman still stopped. Shui frowned and wanted to follow, but was stopped by Xiangyi. Be good, I'll be back soon. The man was silent for 2 seconds and nodded slightly. Xiangyi gestured, Mr. Zhua, please? Zhuyi couldn't figure out what Xiangyi was thinking, but he was afraid of Shui and Xiang Feng, so he could only nod stiffly. They walked to the gate in silence. Xiangyi stopped and looked at Zhuyi. The girl's eyes were clear and her facial features were exquisite. When she looked at Zhuyi, his heartbeat became erratic. Zhuyi looked at Xiangyi affectionately. He thought that he had the charm of a middle-aged man and had charmed many young girls. Xiangyi, do you have something to tell me? Yes. Hearing this, Zhuyi's smile became even brighter. He ran his hand through his hair and said, Go ahead, I'm listening. A question mark slowly appeared above Xiangyi's head. She couldn't understand what the man in front of her was thinking. He was so ordinary, but why was he so confident? Our Shui is generous and kind. He has a soft and delicate heart. Zhuyi was confused. Shui, soft and delicate. Can these words be used together? He doesn't hold grudges, but I'm a very petty person. I can't bear to see him suffer. Zhuyi? Xiangyi calmly tied up her hair and rolled up her sleeves. That's why I'm prepared to stand up for him. When Zhuyi heard this, he found it rather funny. Little girl, so you really do like Shui. But, did I forget to tell you that I'm a martial arts star? The martial arts stars of their generation all knew real kung fu. Otherwise, he would not have been able to break Shui's bones so easily. He had already made up his mind. The moment this young lady made a move, he would turn around to subdue her and force a kiss on her. There was no guarantee that this young lady would not fall for him. With his martial arts, it would be easy for him to deal with a little girl who was still wet behind the ears. Kacha. Ah. The crisp sound of dislocation was accompanied by a scream that sounded like a pig being slaughtered. Xiangyi's move was too fast. Zhuyi did not even have time to react before his arm was dislocated. I forgot to tell you that I'm quite good at fighting. Xiangyi did not waste time talking nonsense. She exerted force with her small hands and accurately repositioned Zhuyi's dislocated arm. Oh! The continuous screams shook away the birds that were perched on the branches. Zhuyi was in so much pain that he broke out in a cold sweat. However, he heard something that made him tremble with fear. I also forgot to tell you that I can not only fight but also heal. The young lady looked at him and smiled gently and harmlessly. Chapter 549. In the living room of the manor. Xiang Feng dug his ears. Did you guys hear anything? No one answered him. Shui lowered her eyes, thinking about something. The brothers of the Xiang family knew that Xiang Feng was a chatterbox. He would never stop after just one sentence. Sure enough, Xiang Feng chattered non-stop. In just a few minutes, the entire internet knew that he had eaten 6 soup dumplings for breakfast, climbed a tree to pick peaches yesterday, went to the hospital to wash his ears and dug out a large lump of earwax. Now, his hearing was extremely good. The netizens? What? Was this person really a domineering CEO? Was he sure he wasn't an idiot? Xiang Feng was very talkative. If Shui hadn't handed him a glass of water and he hadn't stopped to drink it to moisten his throat, he might have continued talking. At this moment, Xiangyi returned. The girl's eyes were calm as she calmly sat down on the sofa. When Xiang Feng saw her, he smiled and said, "You're back. Are you tired? Uncle will wash a few peaches for you to eat." Before he finished speaking, Xiangyu handed over a fruit platter. Inside were freshly washed peaches that had been cut into small pieces. Xiang Feng, I remember that you like to eat walnuts the most. Uncle will use the door to get some for you. Xiang Qi handed over the peeled walnuts and stuffed them into Xiangyi's hands. He looked like he was asking for praise. It wasn't easy to peel them. Hurry up and praise me. Xiang Feng, then I'll make you a cup of milk tea. Little sister, your favorite is jasmine milk green. Xiang Li's voice was gentle as he placed the freshly made milk tea that was still steaming on the small coffee table in front of Xiangyi. Xiang Feng, he really couldn't think of anything else to do for Xiangyi, so he reached for a tissue box. Here, wipe your mouth if you're tired. The next second, Sangchen, who was in the middle of a conference call, passed by. As he skillfully spoke professional legal terms in English, he took out a handkerchief from his suit pocket and handed it to Tutu. Xiang Feng was speechless. Shui naturally hugged Xiao Naofu and chatted with Xiangyi about cat food. The salmon and cod from last time was pretty good. Xiao Naofu ate the most. Xiangyi, then I'll buy some more. Xiang Feng, really? She suddenly felt that she was quite redundant. The netizens in the live stream were envious and jealous when they saw this scene. Our Xiangyi is such a cutie. This is the princess-like life I've always dreamed of. Woo, she has a family and a man. What kind of life is this? Sister E is the happiest person in the world. The morning was peaceful and leisurely, but countless people in front of their screens were watching with relish. It turned out that the quarrels and bickering between family members, or even if they didn't say anything, just being in the same room with some reading books, some doing handicrafts, some busy with work, and some playing games, was actually so warm and blissful. In the director's office, Li Jianyu suddenly realized something and frantically jotted down something on a notepad. Someone came to him to ask about work, but was persuaded to leave by Ruan Qing. The strong and bright woman at this moment chose to silently accompany Li Jianyu. When it was almost time for dinner, Shi Sui was about to cook. Xiangyi couldn't stand it anymore and said coquettishly, "Let me cook just once, just once. Just once, okay?" Before Shi Sui could respond, voices of objection came from all over the room. "No." Chapter 550. "Your hand is still injured, how can you cook? Don't even think about it, sit down obediently." Voices of rebuke came from all directions. Xiangyi clenched her fists and made a gesture to show off her muscles. "It's okay that I'm injured, I can really do it. I'm super strong." The netizens were flabbergasted. "Yi is so cute. Sisters, I can do it again. Cuteness is just as awe. Brothers, promise her, let our sister Yi touch the little spatula. Look at how greedy she is, she's addicted to cooking." Shi Sui was speechless. Xiang Feng was speechless. The Xiang brothers were speechless. At this moment, the few men's brain circuits that had never been synchronized actually connected to a common frequency. "Wifey, sister E, little bunny Tutu is so cute. I'm a very principled person," Sangchen said calmly, and the others all stood up straight or sat down in unison, just like primary school students who were being lectured by the dean. "Tutu, do you really want to cook?" Yes. Xiang Yi nodded vigorously. Sangchen said, "Okay, let's cook together then." Everyone was speechless. Is this what you mean by principled? Your principle is that you have no principles when it comes to Sister E. Xiangyi rubbed her hands expectantly. As it turned out, Xiangyi's expectations were too perfect. When Sangchen said to cook together, he meant that everyone would cook together while Xiangyi sat at the side and watched. "Fourth brother, let me wash the vegetables. How can a girl do such chores?" "Third brother, let me peel the garlic. I'm the best at it." "Little sister, sit properly. Are you cold? I'll get you a blanket." Sob. "Second brother, let me make the soup, please." "Little bunny, be good. Can you cover the lid of the casserole later?" Sob. "Big brother, I'll fry a meatball. Just a little." "Tutu, be good." Xiangyi wandered around but didn't get any work. Feeling aggrieved, she went to Shi Sui's side. Shi Sui smiled. "Your Highness, can you do me a favor?" The young girl's doe eyes brightened. Tell me. I can do anything." Shi Sui pointed at the switch of the natural gas and said gently, "Could you please turn it on for me?" Xiangyi ran over and turned on the switch. Shi Sui, "Thank you, Your Highness. Thank you for your hard work." The young girl turned her small face, and her eyebrows curved into the shape of a crescent moon. Xiang Feng, who was passing by, was confused. "What's this, Your Highness? Are you playing house? You're already so old, yet you're still playing such a childish game." Comments in the live stream. "Someone kill me to liven things up for Shi Sui's sister E. It's so sweet, so sweet. Shi Sui is really good at sweet talking. This is the right way to coax your wife." Sister Yi's smile is beautiful, but Xiao Xiang is asking for a beating when he speaks. In the director's office, Li Jinyu finally stopped writing and drawing. He leaned against the wall with a huge grin on his face. "Have you found inspiration?" Ruan Qing asked. "That's right." Li Jinyu chuckled. "Sister E is my muse of inspiration. Next, I want to do a variety show between family members. Let's do it together?" Ruan Qing chuckled. "Haven't you been squeezed enough by me?" Li Jinyu coughed nervously. He rubbed his hands and whispered like a mosquito. "I'm willing to be squeezed by you." Chapter 551. The temperature in the room seemed to rise all of a sudden. After Li Jinyu finished speaking, he felt particularly embarrassed. He first fanned himself with his notebook, but it couldn't dispel the heat that arose from the bottom of his heart. He stood up and the chair creaked. It's too hot. I'm going out to get some air." Whoosh, his wrist was suddenly grabbed. As far as his eyes could see, the woman's soft fingers and imperial red manicure were clean and beautiful. "Do you want to try it?" "Let's do it together," Ruan Qing asked with a smile. The room was so quiet that the sound of Li Jinyu swallowing his saliva was particularly clear. The usually eloquent person was stuttering at this moment. I want to ask, you mean together, or maybe together with what I think together?" Ruan Qing smiled. "What else?" Li Jianyu was speechless. He asked cautiously, then what should we name our child? Wan Qing? Sorry, I'm such a blabbermouth. Li Jianyu, who had accidentally blurted out his thoughts, blushed. Then are we superior and subordinate or boyfriend and girlfriend? Wan Qing's fingers moved from his wrist to his chin and gently slid across his protruding Adam's apple. There was light green stubble there that was slightly prickly. Of course we're superior and subordinate. Li Jianyu's eyes darkened. However, he heard Wan Qing say unhurriedly, more like boyfriend and girlfriend. Li Jianyu? *CK, I'm no longer single. *CK. At the dining table in the living room. After everyone's hard work, a large table of